Their pitching staff is great, actually, and C.J. Wilson, he gets the ball tonight. Now, he has something to prove. He got knocked around in the ALDS, 5 innings pitched, gave up 3 home runs. Remember, he also gave up a home run in the All-Star game, did not pitch well. So this is a big stage for him, and it's especially big because he is entering into his free agent offseason. He wants to prove to other clubs that he can pitch well on the big stage.
Now, you love C.J. Wilson and the starters for the Texas Rangers, but I love the Texas Rangers bullpen. John Daniels did a great job. He went out and got Mike Gonzalez. He went out and got Adams. He got Uehara from the Orioles. He did a great job. Now they throw Ogando out there with one of the best sliders in the game, and you have Neftali Feliz coming in 100 miles an hour out of the pen. That's the game plan for the Texas Rangers. Get their starters 5-6 innings, get it to the bullpen where they will shut it down if they score any kind of runs.
You know, everybody likes to talk about Jose Valverde and his antics at the end of Detroit's bullpen as well, but very quickly, EK in 15 seconds. Is he better than Feliz?
I don't think he's better than Feliz. I would say Feliz is better. I think Valverde is not as dominant. Feliz is more dominant. Valverde, though, he can make a mistake, and as you saw in the ALDS, it wasn't real easy. There were some tense moments out there.
Always are.
He's the heart attack save master, but he gets it done. He only saved 50 straight this year.
Good point. Oh, now over 50, now that you're including the playoffs. So, guys, as we get ready for some baseball here in the state of Texas, sad news out of Oakland from the NFL with the passing of Raiders owner Al Davis. Davis died in his Oakland home today at the age of 82. He was a rebel and a pioneer who played a huge part in shaping the current NFL. Smart and brash, even at an early age, Davis's legendary pro football career spanned nearly 6 decades. He is the only member of the Pro Football Hall of Fame who was a scout, assistant coach, head coach, general manager, and league commissioner. Of course, his passion for the game was notorious, as were his catchphrases like, "Just win, baby." He was one of the game's great contributors, and all of us here at Fox Sports and everyone in the sports world have benefited from his never-ending commitment to excellence. Commissioner Roger Goodell said, quote, "Al Davis is a true legend of the game whose impact and legacy will forever be part of the NFL." We'll be back. Series will be dealing with several red-hot bats. Batting champion Miguel Cabrera hit .429 the final month. Adrian Beltre, he blasted a dozen homers and was AL Player of the Month for September. And Beltre's blast continued during Tuesday's clinching game against the Tampa Bay Rays. That's when he became the 6th player to hit 3 homers in a single postseason game. But once the all-star third baseman returns to the dugout, that's when Beltre's teammates start playing head games.
Nice play again by Adrian Beltre.
And Beltre rocks one deep. Way back and gone.
Holding on to his head, doesn't want him to pat his head.
I have no clue why Adrian Beltre does not like his head touched.
I have no idea where it started from. It's just one of those things that he just does not like people touching his head.
Wash went down and touched him on the head. Beltre looked at him like, not you, too.
I think he might have the most famous head in baseball.
All right, here we go. They know I don't like it, and they do it because they know I don't like it. The guy who found out was Felix Hernandez. He started messing with my head, and I told him I don't like it. It was a big mistake telling him that. After I went to Boston, I guess he told Victor Martinez, and Victor started doing it. The Scooter started doing it. The whole team started doing it. I went like that, and man, that guy went after me, and I was like, wait a second, what are you doing, man? You're gonna hurt me. So, and then I realized that he didn't like it.
The thing is, like, when you touch his head, you just gotta watch out.
You don't want to be the first guy he's gonna go after you smack him, because you're gonna end up with a bruise or 2.
He's gotten better with the head touching thing. We were playing Tampa Bay. I said, man, I gotta touch your head.
And I said, okay, I'll let you touch it. If we win, I'll let you touch it every game.
He'll take his hat off, and he'll go, and not touch him. And then the next day, he hit 3 home runs.
Number 3 on the day for Adrian Beltre.
I mean, if you hit 7 homers in the ALCS, there's going to be fingerprints all over your dome.
That won't be a bad idea, right? I'll take it. I'll take it for the team.
Hey! EK, did you tell the television rookie that that's something we do here?
Yeah, touching the head, mess up the hair. That's what
hey, I want to run down there after watching that piece and touch his head for next year.
What would happen if we put our fingers in your hair? I'm afraid to see what would
stick.
They turn yellow.
Great. Hey, let's talk about that dynamic Rangers offense. I mean, they've been outstanding.
Well, they really have, and there's not just one guy. You know, Beltre hit 3 home runs the other day, but if you told me Josh Hamilton did it, or Ian Kinsler, or Nelson Cruz, or Napoli, say, yeah, I believe they could do it. That offense, not only can they hit the ball out of the park, they hit for a good average, but they struck out the fewest of any big league ball club in all of Major League Baseball. They make contact. That's why they're so difficult.
I know you love the Rangers, EK,
I do.
But the Tigers offense was the best offense in September in all of Major League Baseball. 6.6 runs a game. They have Maglio Ordonez. They have Miguel Cabrera. They have Victor Martinez. They have Alex Avila, and they're right-hand dominant. And guess what the Texas Rangers have? Left-handed pitching. And what do you do in Texas against left-handed pitching? You shoot it to right center field for home runs in this jet stream. Austin Jackson gets on base in this series, sets the table for Miguel Cabrera and Victor Martinez. The Tigers win this series, and they win it going away.
Wow. Okay, well, hold on. I got to get to predictions right now. Karros, you're the vet. You get to go first.
Going away. No, wait. Texas wins this thing in 6 games. I think they do it because they're more athletic. They are more potent offensively. And I'll tell you what, you're telling me, AJ, that it's easier to put down fingers behind the plate with the Texas Rangers up than the Detroit Tigers?
Absolutely. If you have Justin Verlander pitching twice in one series, absolutely. My prediction, Detroit in 6. I'm a Central guy. I played against the Tigers 18 times. They beat us 13. They're going to win this series because of their pitching, because of the right-handed dominance against the left-handed Texas Rangers, and because of Jose Valverde in the back of the bullpen.
By the way, that has nothing to do with the big bear hug Jim Leyland put on him.
Yeah, that was his next line. And because I hugged Jim Leyland, and because I play in the Central, and because I hugged Jim Leyland.
Well, he does like me because they did beat us a ton this year.
Yeah.
And I think I hit under 200 against them.
I don't know if you heard, but you guys were 5-13 against the Tigers.
I know, you guys keep rubbing that in. It's okay, we'll get them next year.
Real quickly, what do you see happening tonight? The weather's nasty. We're slated for an on-time departure tonight, but if we have rain, if there's no Verlander after a couple of innings, you're thinking huge momentum swing to the Rangers, right, EK?
Well, I think the Texas bullpen is much deeper. You have Ogando down there who can come in and throw 2, 3, 4 innings. Ron Washington told us before the game that there was no set way he was going to use him, however the game dictated. And again, I love the Texas offense.
I think you're right, EK. If Verlander misses out on this game, the Tigers are in trouble because of the fact that Alexi Ogando is in the bullpen. The Tigers do have Brad Penny and some other arms, but Alexi Ogando, the Texas Rangers were 3-6 against the Tigers. Guess who won all 3 games for the Rangers? Alexi Ogando.
And let's remember that he was at the All-Star game in Arizona as a starter this year. I mean, really, he started to wear down a little bit in that Texas heat, and obviously you can understand that, but this is a legit right-hander out of the pen that has been starting for most of the season. All right, guys, time right now. We are getting ready for the singing of our national anthem here. You can tell this place is going wild. I mean, they act like they haven't been in the playoffs for 20 years. They were just here last year. They're ready to get it going. They smell another World Series berth. So right now, let's send it up to the public address announcer, Chuck Morgan.
Arlington Fire Department Honor Guards are presenting the colors of the United States of America. In addition, members of the Arlington Police and Fire Departments are presenting the Texas flag and the batter's eye in center field. And the Rangers welcome longtime season ticket holders who will be unfurling the American flag in center field during tonight's national anthem. And now, ladies and gentlemen, 412 honors America with the singing of our national anthem.
Yes. Pre-game show on Fox. As you can tell, this place is rocking. We are now just moments away from first pitch in Arlington, but right now let's send it up to the broadcast booth with Joe Buck and Terry Francona.
All right, Chris, thank you very much, and everybody welcome inside our broadcast booth. I'm Joe. Terry's coming right up. Well, first things first, Tim McCarver's not here for games 1 and 2. We know that he's watching. Don't forget to put your room service tray outside your door when you're finished eating, Tim. We've got it covered until game 3. We are in Arlington. The wind is blowing out, and for the Detroit Tigers, they knocked off the Yankees a couple of nights ago. The Texas Rangers, second straight year, they knocked off Tampa Bay. And so now I welcome in my partner for 2 games. Scoot over here. Terry Francona. My, how you've fallen. The lights are on, the camera. You've got makeup on the dome.
2 weeks ago, I was stressing about baseball. Now I got 2 pretty women putting makeup on me.
So that's
tough life.
It is a tough life. You're not supposed to say that, how easy it is up here. But let's talk about this series. What do you expect to see from Texas and Detroit in this ALCS?
I think everybody sees American League. They think offense and a lot of it. I think you're going to see good pitching from both sides starting tonight, and I think that pitching is going to carry over to the rest of the series.
You know, it's easy to say that with Justin Verlander, C.J. Wilson, but for Texas and their rotation, it really carries on past tonight.
I mean, they have 5 starters. They're deep with 13 or more wins. They have a bullpen that was fortified at the trading deadline. For me, both teams, when you get late in the game with the lead, it's over.
Yeah, how over for Detroit? 80-0 when leading after 7 this season. That's over, but this thing's just getting started. Let's meet these 2 teams. The boys from Detroit, Justin Verlander, best pitcher in the game. How about this year's batting champ? Their closer is animated and perfect. Then the defending AL champs, 3 guys with 30-plus home runs, and that doesn't even include him. 5 pitchers with 13 or more wins, most in the majors. These are baseball's 2 hottest teams. Tigers and Rangers, Game 1, ALCS, coming up next. Whipping around here, it's 77 degrees. There's a chance of thunderstorms, but from what we're told, it's supposed to go right around the ballpark, which means we'll be in a rain delay in about an hour. C.J. Wilson and the Rangers take the field, and C.J.'s hoping for something better this time out than Game 1 of the division series against Tampa Bay. Tonight's opening pitch is brought to you by Budweiser. Great times are waiting. Grab some buds. And while we give you that beautiful visual, we'll give you now the Tigers starting lineup, brought to you by Taco Bell. Think outside the ball. Austin Jackson leads it off. Ryan Rayburn with Miguel Cabrera hitting third. No Delman Young. He's out with a bad oblique. Victor Martinez, Maglio, Ordonez, Alex Avila, Johnny Peralta, Ramon Santiago, and then Brandon Inge pitching, or rather playing third base and batting ninth. And the guy pitching is C.J. Wilson. And those numbers, he'd like to erase those, forget about it. His team won the next 3 against the Rays. And he will deal with Austin Jackson to start the night. When he makes contact, he is a tough hitter. The problem is making contact. Austin Jackson struck out 181 times this year. 8 times in the division series. Strike 1. C.J. ready with another. Strike 2.
And when Jackson gets in the hole, it's not your prototype leadoff hitter. A lot of strikeouts, as you alluded to. Not a lot of contact, but he's their one guy that can run.
22 stolen bases during the regular season. 2 hits against the Yankees. Good start, C.J. Wilson. And now we take a look at the defense for Texas. Murphy, Hamilton back in center. Nelson Cruz in right. Beltre's the best in the business at third. Elvis Andrus at short. Kinsler, Mitch Moreland. The catcher is Napoli, who's been a revelation. Had a career year this year with Texas in his first year down here. And on the mound is Wilson. Here's Ryan Rayburn. Ball 1. Rayburn batting in the number 2 spot. You were surprised, Terry. You thought it might be Ramon Santiago up in that spot.
Just knowing the way Jim Leland wants to run his team, very traditional. Thought he'd want to have a guy that can bunt, move some runners. You know, Rayburn, there's a lot of strikeouts there in those first 2 hitters, but he's also a pretty good hitter against left-handers.
And the Tigers will see plenty of left-handers in this series. 3 of the 4 starters are lefties for Texas. That's why the Tigers will really miss Delman Young. Right-handed thumper playing in left field. Had 3 home runs in the division series against the Yankees. And Terry, his swing, Delman Young, is to right. 2 of his 3 home runs are out to right, and that's where the ball really carries here.
There's a jet stream here, and it plays small. And it's so opposite of Comerica Park, where it's so spacious.
Counts 2-1 from Wilson to Rayburn. Ball 3. Well, as you look at this ballpark, and the Rangers have played here since '94, there have been more home runs hit here at this park per game than anywhere else across baseball.
And I think some of that has to do with the hitters, but it's a great place to hit. This place, in my opinion, always ranked right behind Colorado. Now it might be ahead of it.
Here's a 3-1. Base hit into left, and it was ripped by Ryan Rayburn. And it will bring in Miguel Cabrera. A look at this ballpark, and there are the numbers and where this ballpark ranks. And with this guy digging in at the plate, Miguel Cabrera, if there's any right-handed batter that has a swing tailor-made for this ballpark, it's Miguel Cabrera shooting the ball out to right.
This guy swings tailor-made to any ballpark. This guy is a machine. He's got the best balance. He's got the best everything.
28 years old, and he won the batting title in the American League this season. 1 on, 1 out, ball 1. Wilson took care of Austin Jackson with 3 pitches, and now he's trying to get around a 1-out hit by Ryan Rayburn with Victor Martinez on deck. C.J. Wilson, a former closer for the Rangers. Misses inside, and so now he falls behind Cabrera after falling behind Rayburn.
He fell behind there, but he's got to get that ball in there and keep him out from diving out over the plate, or he's going to get hurt, because he can reach any part of the ballpark.
Typically you hear with good starting pitchers, it's certainly the case with Verlander, and for C.J. Wilson, you got to get them early before they settle into a ball game, and this could be an early chance for Detroit.
And these are the two, no more than these two. They're going to want to establish their fastball early, the first 3 innings, first time through the lineup.
Late swing and strike 1 off the bat of Miguel Cabrera.
I think both these guys, as you progress into the game, they're going to throw harder.
Two balls and a strike. Ripped into left, another base hit. Back-to-back hits for Detroit, and the Tigers have 2 on with 1 out here in the first inning. And C.J. Wilson's got to be thinking, oh, here I go again.
Just keeps his hands inside the ball so well. Cutter in that he just drops his hands inside. He doesn't pull it foul, and he gets the barrel on it.
And he sets up an RBI opportunity, Terry, for a guy that you had with the Red Sox a year ago, Victor Martinez. And Victor, after signing a deal here with Detroit, he's driven in 100 runs, and he's been so good in this clubhouse.
He is, in my opinion, tonight, the most important guy in this lineup. He hits behind Cabrera. He's a switch hitter. He only had 11, 12 home runs, but he drove in 100. He's as professional a hitter as you're going to find.
Big chance for Detroit. 2 on here in the first inning, and a strike hits the inside corner.
And you won't find a better teammate. He's right at the top of the list.
And he's got his kid that's always hanging around the clubhouse.
And you'll never hear anybody complain about it. I'd adopt that kid in a minute. He's the best. His kid's 6 going on 60.
0-1 the count. This is a situation Victor Martinez was brilliant with during the regular season.
When he feels good about himself, as he obviously does, he becomes so much more patient, and he gets deeper in the count, and the deeper in the count he gets, the more dangerous he becomes.
Nobody was better in the league or in baseball than Victor Martinez with runners in scoring position. The count 1-1. Nice block by Napoli, who finally finds it and keeps Rayburn at second base. This guy was brought here for his bat, but now all of a sudden Napoli looks like he caught 9 shutouts during the regular season. He's improved behind the plate.
That's what Wash said when we talked to him today. And I also think when you hit 33 home runs, your defense gets better.
Yeah. Whatever it is, we'll take it. Now tell the folks who Wash is. Not everybody knows.
Ron Washington. I'm sorry. I need to be careful on
that. Let's not get too inside baseball. 2 on 1 out. 2 balls and a strike on Victor Martinez, and C.J. Wilson right into trouble. That's outside. It's 3-1. C.J. is 30 years old. He's lost 3 straight postseason decisions, and over his last 4 starts, 7 home runs, an ERA of 6.26. And he's going to have to do some pitching to get out of this. Strike 2. And Victor Martinez surprisingly let a 3-1 pitch cruise right down the middle.
I think Victor's thinking a little bit like maybe I was, that they're going to pitch around him a little bit with Maglio on deck and not let Victor beat him.
Runners go on ball 4 to load him up. And so C.J. Wilson has given up back-to-back hits, now a walk. And here is the early look at this lineup without Delman Young. You've got Cabrera hitting 3rd, Victor Martinez 4th. A lot will be on this man, Maglio Ordonez.
This is going to be a big at-bat right here. Maglio's been having a tough time elevating the ball. When Wilson's good, he's going to throw that 2-seamer down with some sinking action to it. I mean, this is going to be a huge at bat right here.
So step out on a limb and say this is a double play possibility for Texas.
Yes, it is.
Bases loaded, 1 out.
How Maglio swings the bat right here will be huge in how many pitches Victor sees.
Strike 1. Nolan Ryan, team president for the Texas Rangers.
Soft tosser.
Yeah, and he's still got that look in his eye. I think he wants to go out there and he'd rather face Maglio Ordonez. The 0-1. Chopper to 3rd. Out at 3rd. Double play. And the inning is over. Nolan might have struck him out, but C.J. Wilson got the double play after a half in game 1, no score. Thought he might get a lead. Instead, he goes out there, no score. Justin Verlander, Taco Bell starting lineup for Texas. Think outside the bunt. Kinsler, Andrus, and then Hamilton. Michael Young, Beltray, Napoli, who had a big year. Nelson Cruz trying to find his stroke. David Murphy and Mitch Moreland batting in the number 9 spot. And here are the numbers. I know you loved your Red Sox to face Justin Verlander when he was on the mound for Detroit. How nasty is this guy?
This guy's the best. This guy's the best. Kinsler, look right now, he's looking to do one thing. If this is a first pitch fastball, he might try to hijack it right out of here.
See if Verlander brings him one. Down and away. Didn't have a chance. A 93-mile-per-hour fastball. I can't believe how the velocity for Verlander increases the longer he goes.
And it's by the situation of the game also.
94, you see 93, 94, and the other night against the Yankees on short rest after that weird start to the division series, he was in the 8th inning throwing 101.
Yeah, he's not a finesse pitcher.
Here's a 1-1. 2-1.
Every pitch he has is as good as there is in the game, and that's not fair.
And his curveball is on. Good night. That's when he has his no-hit stuff.
And then he gets behind in the count and he'll throw you a changeup just to mess with you.
The 2-1. There's a breaking ball. It's in for a strike, and the count 2-2 on a guy that had his second 30-30 season, and here's that 2-1 breaking ball.
Yeah, you got a guy that throws 101 and he's throwing a behind in the count breaking ball. He doesn't just get you out, he embarrasses you.
Now the 2-2. Full count. Talked to Ron Washington, the manager of the Rangers, before the game and said, what do your scouts tell you? How do you beat this guy? I said, hey, he lost 5 times.
Yeah, that was manager talk, though.
Right?
I think Watch knows how good this guy is.
Yeah, he did win 24. At the AL in all those categories. Here comes a 3-2. Still 3-2, and somebody has a bruise. This guy's a sneaky good player in the American League.
He's a real good player. And he runs the bases, he steals bases, he hits home runs. He's improved dramatically defensively.
Very good hitter here at home. Still full.
And the more pitches he sees, the more dangerous he gets.
There are his numbers at home. It's just over 210 on the road. But half of his home runs came here in Arlington. Leadoff walk.
Now you're going to see the difference in philosophies of the two teams. Texas is going to push on the bases. Detroit can't do that. And as good a job as Verlander does with base runners, they're still going to try to run.
These top 2 guys do that. Kinsler stole 30. He's the guy on, the guy at the plate. Elvis swiped 37. And Ron Washington just lets him run.
He's got a lot of confidence in these guys. And this young kid, Andrews, he has really improved in his situational hitting. He's going to try to shoot this hole. If he makes a mistake, he might spin on one, but he's really improved in that area.
Shoot the hole to the right side where there's that gap between Cabrera and the second baseman, Santiago. And a check from Verlander. Here Cabrera shouting out at Santiago, his second baseman. Ball 1. Elvis just 23 years old. He's had 3 straight 30-plus stolen base seasons. At 279 this year. The errors were down the stretch. He's become more sure-handed. Good player. Former Atlanta Brave farmhand.
And there's not a ball that's hit to him he doesn't think he can make. I think sometimes that's why he ends up getting errors. Tries to finish some plays maybe he shouldn't.
Runner starts and stops, and now Kinsler is out by 20. He took a couple of steps and then stopped and continued on, and it was an easy one for Avila. 1 away. That was a hit and run.
And it sure was. He was running with protection, but Verlander did a great job.
Not too much of a stop, but just kind of a...
I think he realized he was in trouble.
Yeah. Well, once the swing and the miss on the hit and run, it just didn't look right. He didn't get a good break, and he didn't really charge down to second base with what you expect out of Kinsler, who stole 30. That's an error on Jackson, and great hustle by Andrus into second, 1 out. Wow. You explain that.
You can't. Every once in a while, major league players drop balls. That's not the wind. That's not the lights. He just didn't see it into his glove. That's a bad feeling. Hit his wristwatch.
So now a runner at second after the error by Austin Jackson, who made 3 during the regular season. There is some wind whipping around in this stadium, but clearly an error. And now Josh Hamilton, who typically likes to hack at that first pitch more than anybody in baseball, Took one outside, ball one. .96 from Verlander, who cranks it up another notch. It's 1-1.
The one thing about Verlander, he will never back off. He's not afraid to throw that fastball to any hitter in the lineup at any time. How can you blame him?
It jumps. That was close, but safe is Elvis Andrus.
And that wasn't to pick him off, but that's to remind him that we haven't forgotten about you, because Texas is going to run, and if they get thrown out, they're not going to stop.
That's what he did last year in the ALCS against the Yankees. Was the MVP, 4 home runs. With the good pitching of Cliff Lee, that was enough to beat New York. He went up to get that, fouls it away, strike 2. Let's take another look at that pickoff at second base.
Well, that's a lot closer than it looked.
Yeah. To give you the umpires, we get a moment here as it counts 1-2 on Hamilton, who hit 25 home runs. Verlander is bothered by Andrus down at second base. There are the umpires, home plate umpires, the crew chief Tim Welke, Larry Vanover, Jim Wolf, Fielden Culbreth, Jeff Nelson, and Tom Hallion down the right field line. And how about pulling the string to strike out Hamilton, 2 out.
That's impressive right there. You know, if you saw a young pitcher paying attention to the runner at second, you'd think he's worrying too much about the runner. Verlander checks the runner, doesn't allow him to run, and then he executes a pitch to maybe the most dangerous hitter in the league.
Brings in Michael Young, who did that during the division series, but during the regular season had in some ways a career year.
He drove in over 100 runs without hitting a lot of home runs. That shows you how professional a hitter he is.
Career high in average for a former batting champion. Takes ball one. He is the ultimate team guy.
I was just going to say, this kid is a lot of what's good in baseball. He's a great teammate. He's a great player. He treats the game with respect. He's a lot of fun to root for.
He made some noise early in spring training after the Rangers picked up Napoli because they thought Napoli would be the DH. Michael Young's thinking, where do I fit? Well, he started at 5 positions this year.
He's even more valuable because of that, because he can move all over the diamond and DH.
1-0. 2-0.
And you can see right away they're going to throw him in, because if he gets comfortable hitting the ball the other way, he becomes so much more dangerous.
Again, Verlander, I guess you can say spins. He's not really giving it much of a look back at second base, but sends Elvis Andrus back to the bag. That's ball 3. First base open, but this lineup doesn't get any easier. Here are the all-time ranks for Michael Young in Rangers history. First in games, hits, runs, doubles, triples. Second in average RBIs, he's 3rd. Counts 3-0. 97 from Verlander, 3-1.
I'm talking about some pretty good hitters that have come through here too.
Two on, 2 out, 2 walks in the inning. These next two hitters, Terry, the biggest difference in this lineup from a year ago.
This kid here, there's not a pitch you throw that he doesn't think he can hit. You throw a strike, you throw a cookie, you can hit it a long way, and you throw a breaking ball down in the count, and he hits it the other way for a home run. His confidence hitting behind in the count is off the charts.
Made Verlander work here in the first inning. The error didn't help. And it's 2 on, 2 out for Beltre. Strike one.
And most teams in this situation wouldn't even think about running. But I think right now, if he forgets about him, both of them will run, and they'll take their chances.
Inside to even the count. Verlander wanted that pitch, didn't get it, stared in at Oakland umpire Tim Welke. 2-1.
You can see why he wanted it.
So he falls behind on the count, 2-1. Beltre, coming off a 3-homer game, is late, fouls it 2-2.
Well, if I'm an umpire early in the game, I'm hunting strikes. There's no better way to get the game moving. As long as you're consistent, hitters will appreciate that, and they'll figure out the strike zone.
Couldn't agree with you more. Counts 2-2. Struck him out, and it gets a wow from Francona, and the inning is over. 2 strikeouts, 2 walks. Verlander gets around the error.
Forgot I was working.
We've had our first wow. No score after 1. Move into the second inning. Avila will lead it off. Then Johnny Peralta, Ramon Santiago against C.J. Wilson, who walked a tightrope in the first inning to get around 2 hits and a walk. Double play ball got him out of it. Off the bat of Ordonez. And here is Avila, who flies one into left. Murphy is back and on the move on the track. 1 out. Ball carried a long way into left off the bat of Avila.
You're looking at a guy that's really patient and swings at strikes, and he swings at the first pitch of an inning. I think that shows you something about Wilson.
So if you're in the dugout for the Red Sox and you're down there managing the Tigers, you know C.J. Wilson struggled against Tampa Bay. You know he had a rough first inning, but you still respect what he is able to do.
Of course, his stuff is electric. And Johnny Peralta having to take that fastball right there because Avila swung, it just killed him, because he's going to do something in the first 3 pitches all the time in his at-bats.
Here's the 0-1. A little bit low, 1 ball, 1 strike. He is 1 for 14 in his career against C.J. Wilson.
This lineup is actually set up really well for Wilson. If he executes his pitches, he should be able to navigate his way through.
Here is a 1-1. Good sip on that fastball, strike 2. Two balls, 2 strikes. On deck is Santiago.
You just saw he can elevate that fastball. He can wrap that slider around your back ankle.
Ripped into left, and the 3rd hit of the game. All 3 by right-handed batters into left field off Wilson. This one belongs to Johnny Peralta. 1 on, 1 out.
And hanging.
So he can elevate the fastball, he can wrap a slider around your back ankle, and he can hang a pitch, which you just did.
And that's been the problem with him. He throws too many pitches over the middle of the plate against too many good hitters. Sometimes he can just outstuff you.
Allowed 3 home runs in that game 1 of the division series to the Rays. A 9-0 win. Strike 1. But that game was about Matt Moore making his 2nd career start, 7 shutout innings. The young left-hander for the Tampa Bay Rays was seemingly untouchable.
Boy, that's some easy 95, 96, isn't it?
I thought the same thing. Strike 2. Matt Moore, the lefty for the Tampa Bay Rays, as Terry said, looks like he can throw 95 without ever breaking a sweat.
It just looks like his arm doesn't hurt.
The 0-2. Good pitch, called ball 1. One ball, 2 strikes. Little down and away. 1 on, 1 out. Number 9 man Inge next. Scooped up by Napoli, 2-2.
And here's where you're going to see the difference in both teams. Detroit just doesn't have the speed to start runners in motion, especially with the lefty on the mound. They'll do it with protection of the hitter, but probably not a lot of straight stealing.
Line drive, base hit into right field. Peralta will stop at second, and it's 2 on with 1 out. Back-to-back hits by Peralta and Santiago with Inge coming up. Pesky hitter is Santiago, as the Yankees found out.
Nice little piece of hit, and kept his hands inside and just served it over the second baseman's head.
And now the longest tenured Detroit Tiger, Brandon Inge, stands in. What he did in the series against the Yankees was 3 for 7, did not have an RBI, hit 3 home runs during the regular season and under 200. Ball 1.
You know, he had a miserable year, but if you're a left-hand pitcher and you make a mistake, he can still hit in the seats.
He's 34 years old. He had tendonitis 2 years ago in both knees. He's bounced between catcher and third base. Got a chance to give his Tigers a 2nd inning lead here in game 1. One and 1. Guy that was drafted by Detroit back in '98. Hitting just .225 since 2008 for Jim Leyland. His 6th year as manager with Detroit. Late swing, strike 2. Jim took the Tigers to the World Series in '06. Had that great run with the Pirates, won it all in '97 with the Marlins. Big strikeout, Wilson, 2 gone.
Well, you look at Jim Leyland in there. Everybody my age wanted to be Jim Leyland. And that pitch is filthy. That's a breaking ball that's just going towards his back ankle. That's not hittable.
When you played, you didn't want to be Jim Leyland.
No, I actually might have.
But when you managed, that was the gold standard.
He just had it. And this is back when we were young players, when he was in Evansville managing with the Tigers. He just had something that players wanted to be around. You could tell. And he hasn't lost it.
2 on, 2 out. Jackson takes a strike. Austin struck out his first time. That's his 9th strikeout of this postseason, and made an error out in center.
Again, he's not the prototype leadoff hitter. I'm surprised that Wilson's letting Johnny Peralta mess with him at second because he's not going anywhere.
So much of that stuff is called from the bench.
But I don't think right here, I bet you right now Ron Washington is probably thinking throw the ball, get the hitter.
That is a fair ball. Napoli scoops and throws, and the inning is over. C.J. Wilson gets around 2 more hits after an inning and a half. No score in Texas. Centennial celebration. And enter to win at ChevyBaseball.com. Here is Mike Napoli, who hit .320, hit 30 home runs. Was traded to Toronto January 21st from the Angels for Vernon Wells, and then 4 days later was turned around and traded to Texas. What a big pickup he became. 1 ball, 1 strike.
And he had a reputation of being real dangerous against, left-hand pitching and not necessarily being the best catcher. He comes to Texas, he's catching, he's doing a good job throwing out runners, and he's raking not only lefties but righties also.
He shortens up with 2 strikes, something he didn't do before. Verlander is not getting that corner. The count 2-1.
And you can't throw a pitch high enough to get it past him. You talk about climbing the ladder with hitters. If you throw it up there, you better throw it up there hard because he's going to get a good swing at it.
Hit his first career home run against Verlander. Did Mike Napoli. That catches the outside corner. The count 2-2. Just that 1 home run, 3 out of 15 in his career against the game's best. Base hit. And that's what he's done more of with 2 strikes than he ever did before.
That's 97 miles an hour at the top of the zone, and he gets on top of it and makes it look easy.
Shoots it into right. Leadoff man is on, and Nelson Cruz, who had a hamstring injury he dealt with at the beginning of September and has done no hitting virtually since coming back. He did not have the luxury of a rehab assignment because the minor league seasons were over. Strike 1.
And Nelson's going to want to hit the first straight one he can see so he doesn't have to mess around with that off-speed pitch. And he just swung at that first pitch. It's probably in off the plate because he doesn't want to wait for that breaking ball.
Nelson hitting just .158 since he came back off the disabled list. The guy who last year in the division series, really in the postseason in general, was somebody that the Rangers could count on. He has the ability to throw a team on his back.
He can get hot in a hurry.
The 1-1. Another pitch in on him. That's a foul ball. Strike 2.
As you can see by the first 3 pitches, this is not a real comfortable matchup for him. He's real dangerous against left-hand pitching, and he's certainly a good hitter, but this is a tough matchup.
Caught him on the right thigh as that pitch ran in on Nelson Cruz.
It's probably a good thing he fouled it. It might have hit him in the stomach.
Count 1-2. On deck is Murphy. Cruz batting in that 7 spot. That's the depth of this Texas lineup when they're all going well. Led the league in hitting as a team, and that is ball 2. Got under it. Rayburn comes on for out number 1. Big swing and a loud out. David Murphy coming up.
I think he's going back to the dugout thinking he might have missed one he should have hit.
The frustration continues for Nelson Cruz. And here is David Murphy. Strike one on Murphy. We talk about a pitching triple crown. And he won it this year in the American League. He had the most wins, had the best ERA, and struck out the most. He's the 21st pitcher since 1900 to win the pitching triple crown, and he is one of 2 this year. Clayton Kershaw, who grew up in the Dallas area, Highland Park area, went to high school with Matthew Stafford, won it for a bad Dodger team in the National League. Counts 0-2 on Murphy, who hit .298 against right-handed pitching. But not a lot of guys that can do what Verlander can do, 1 and 2. So that combo of Kershaw and Verlander, first to do it from both leagues since the 1924 season. Dazzy Vance and the great Walter Johnson. 1924. Here's a 1-2. That's a foul ball. It was behind the plate. The count stays 1-2.
You just don't see a lot of real good swings. He's thrown 5 pitches. They've been different elevations, different speeds. Breaking ball, changeup, fastball. You just can't get comfortable. You can't get a beat on it.
You said something interesting to Jim Leyland before the game, and that is that these pitchers seem to really enjoy throwing to Avila, the Tiger catcher.
And Verlander was very outspoken before the All-Star game, and I loved hearing it just from a respect part from the game.
2-2.
And Jim came right back and said he earned it. It's kind of nice to hear that. Being a catcher in this league on a good team is not an easy thing to do, especially with a guy like Verlander, guys like that on the mound that have some pedigree.
.25 of the 40 pitches have been over 90. A lot of hard stuff early from Verlander. And Murphy rides one into right center, well hit. Back is Ordonez, and it one-hops the wall. The Rangers take a Game 1 lead.
Boy, Murph can take some ugly swings, but he can get it done. He kept his hands back. His balance was, he was completely falling out of the box. But Verlander never came in that entire at bat to get him off of that pitch enough.
And so it's an RBI triple to score Napoli all the way from first. Infield is in for Moreland, who takes ball 1 high. 1-0 Texas here in the second.
Now the infield's in, but he's thrown out of the windup. So be interesting to see if somebody yells out of the dugout here, or he's just that much more comfortable.
Interesting to see if Napoli gets some oxygen over on the bench. Boy, a lot of borderline pitches. Verlander stares in again. A lot of borderline pitches that aren't going Verlander's way. The count's 2-0. That little let's go was at the home plate umpire. The 2-0. Broken bat. 2 out. And Verlander looked to run on Murphy back to third.
the game just doesn't speed up on Verlander. It just, you know, there's a lot going on right now. Runner in third, infield in, a bat's flying past him. He looks the runner back. It's just not going too fast for him.
Would you say he gets the most out of his 6'5", 225 pounds when he brings a fastball to the plate?
Yeah, he's not finesse. There's some effort in that delivery.
Runner at third, 2 out, back to the top of the order, and Ian Kinsler. That was his hardest pitch, 98 miles per hour, to relieve Mitch Moreland of a bat. Another 98.
And that's what he does. He pitches to the game. And if he needs to step on the throttle a little bit, he does. What a throttle.
And his 1-0. Base hit, 2-0 Texas.
Ian Kinsler does that so well. With runners in scoring position, he hits the ball the other way. That's a nice piece of hitting.
Now Elvis Andrus reached on an error his first time up. Takes a fastball for strike 1. RBI triple David Murphy, 2 out RBI single Ian Kinsler. This Texas team that hit just .211 against the Tampa Bay Rays in the division series has come up with 3 hits here in the second off Verlander. When they score first, especially now with that redone bullpen, they win a lot as the count goes to 0-2.
And as impressive as that number was, that percentage, I would think if you look and see if they score first and then score next, it's probably very few wins for the opposing team.
Now they've added to their bullpen with names like Uehara, Mike Adams. They've got Ogando back down there as they had last year, started this year, and a great closer in Feliz.
Yeah, they've shortened the game. They did a great job at the deadline.
They got a left-hander, Michael Gonzalez. John Daniels has done a great job as GM here with Texas. Payroll is under $100 million. As Elvis pops it up right side, and it's Santiago who has to go get it. In foul ground, the inning is over. 2 runs, 3 hits. Hometowners are up 2-0 after 2. C.J. Wilson heads back to the mound, and now he's got a 2-0 lead thanks to RBI hits by Murphy and Kinsler. Ryan Rayburn is first up. Good breaking ball, strike 1. Rayburn singled sharply into left his first time up. And it's Rayburn who is in the lineup in place of the injured Delman Young, who's a big weapon. Not there for Detroit.
Such an important inning right now for C.J. Wilson to come out and pound the strike zone and put up a 0 after his team scored 2.
1 ball, 1 strike. Big bats are coming up after Rayburn. The count goes to 2-1. Big baseball fan Mark Zeitels is watching and listening back in Boston. You used to call Boston your home.
They used to call me home.
And now they said,
go announce.
Here is a 2-1 pitch that's down and in, 3-1.
You know what? A lot of great memories. A lot of great people.
Well, I would think, my gosh, you won a World Series there for the first time in 86 years.
Yeah, it was a lot of.
That was good.
It wasn't boring. I'll say that.
3 balls and a strike. Full count. Are we ever going to know what happened at the end, or are you just sticking with we're parting ways and that's it?
Yeah, I think that's the best way to go about it. We can have a beer later on tonight if you want.
Okay. Here's a 3-2. That is down, and a leadoff walk, second walk of the game, handed out by Wilson. Here is tonight's Get to a Better State recap, brought to you by State Farm. For auto, home, life, and banking, get to a better state. How about the acquisitions of Doug Fister and Delman Young? Down the stretch, Fister 8-1, 1.79 ERA. And Delman hit 3 home runs in that division series against the Yankees, 8 in 40 regular season games with the Tigers. 2 master strokes by Dave Dombrowski, who is the GM and in his 10th year with the Detroit Tigers. Good combo with Jim Leland, and here's a strike into Cabrera. Miguel Cabrera could tie it with one swing. That hits the outside corner. 0-2. There's Dave Dombrowski. Built up the Marlins. They won it all. Now in his 10th year with the Tigers. Good pitch, down and in. I mean, anything out over the plate for Miguel Cabrera that he can flip into right is deadly.
And that pitch, that was an unhittable pitch, and he got to it enough to foul it, and he earned himself another shot. And if he gets some over the plate, he's going to hit it.
Wilson has not made it easy on himself yet. Got him looking. Mild argument put up by Cabrera. A little discussion. Here's the sequence.
All cutters. You didn't want to throw him a fastball. I can see why that's a tough pitch to take right there. That ball's probably a little off, but because he followed the glove, he got rewarded for it.
Brings in Victor Martinez. He was 4th best in the American League this year, hit .330. Gave the Tigers everything they wanted. They signed him to a 4-year, $50 million deal. Strike one.
I guarantee you Victor's son, Victor Jose, is sitting in the clubhouse right now. He's got food in his hand, and he's sitting in front of the TV screaming for his dad to get a hit.
As he did every night with the Red Sox. Before that, I'm sure even as a little baby with Cleveland. And by the way, whether it's Scott Boras or Dan Lozano or any agent, you might want to try and sign Victor Martinez kid maybe in the next year or two.
He's already switch hitting with power.
1 on, 1 out. Strike 2. Can they turn it? They got one. Got them both. After 2.5 in Arlington. Wilson gets another double play ball. 2-0 Rangers. Verlander back to the hill. 3 hits last inning. RBIs by Murphy and Kinsler, and that means Hamilton leads it off. Josh struck out his first time, and that's typical. 47% of the time he went after the first pitch. Most across baseball. He goes up there ready to hammer. Strike 2. Well, Mr. Francona, what do you think of this racket so far up here?
You know, it's not as much anxiety. There's anxiety, but for different reasons. Just it's interesting. Different viewpoint for sure.
Easier?
You know what's hard right now? I want to chew and I want to be able to curse at will, and I can't do either.
Yeah, we would.
That would be bad.
We would highly advise against that and plead with you not to do that. But I'm adept at handling that kind of stuff. So
I'm not. I got to tell you, I'm not real big so far on your payroll, your budget. I asked for some paperweights. I got a banana and a roll of tape.
It's I mean, the wind's been blowing around up here. He has spent most of his pregame time just trying to pick up paper off the ground. And how about the banana?
I got all this knowledge I want to give it, and half of it's underneath me here.
That is a tired banana over there too. Now the rain falls. You may get your first rain delay, Terry, right out of the gate. Strike one to Michael Young.
But when it rains here, it can rain too, as we all know.
Breaking ball's fouled away. That's strike two.
When Michael tries to hit the ball that way, he becomes so much more dangerous. Because in his own head, he knows he can stay back enough, and that's when he ends up generating power.
Counts 0-2. Hamilton struck out. Good curveball, back-to-back strikeouts, 2 out. We'll go down to Kenny Rosenthal, who is with us. Kenny, what do you have on Justin Verlander?
Well, Joe, Justin Verlander is pitching tonight with his hero sitting in the front row rooting against him. That would be Nolan Ryan. And even though Ryan retired when Verlander was 10, Verlander still idolized him because even as a boy, he threw hard. He has spoken of matching Ryan's career record of 7 no-hitters. Verlander has 2. And he has also spoken of pitching until he is 46, just like Ryan did.
You know, Kenny, the numbers really aren't that different between Verlander and Nolan Ryan at this point in their careers. Verlander is a former first-round pick, 2nd overall, as Beltre gets a 2-out hit. Came up in 05, and Verlander's won 17, 18, 11, 19, 18, and 24 this year. And through their age 28 season, I mean, the numbers really aren't that different. Obviously, the strikeouts for the all-time strikeout king much higher for Nolan Ryan than no-hitters, but the ERA, the record, is right there.
And especially later in Nolan's career when he started throwing that changeup, that's when they're really alike.
They cheer for Napoli, who rips a breaking ball foul. Is Kenny Rosenthal still standing down there in the rain? Kenny, I want to not let this night go by without you telling the people what that bow tie signifies right under your chin tonight.
Well, Joe, this one is for scoliosis, and that's curvature of the spine. I had surgery for that when I was 17. My daughter Sarah had the same surgery at 15 this summer. So it's for her surgeon, and my old high school classmate, Dr. Lloyd Hay. His daughter Sarah designed this tie.
Thanks, Kenny. 1 on, 2 out. And a 2-1 count on Napoli. Beltre does not run. Hardly at all. When he was aboard, stole 1, got caught once all year, and was bothered for about 5.5 weeks with a bad hamstring.
And Verlander's not missing by a lot, but he's just not quite hitting his spots yet.
Verlander is thoroughly frustrated. And that time is called over at first base.
I think they got the count wrong. again, it comes back to the point we were making earlier. I think as an umpire, you got to be hunting strikes. You can see umpires making mistakes when the ball's off, calling it a strike. But when that ball hits the plate, it's a strike.
Now the count's full, and that means that Beltre, the runner at first, will go. Cabrera will stay on the bag.
I like this hold him on. You don't give him a running start so he can score on the ball in the gap.
There he goes, and that should end the inning. Santiago. After 3, game 1, Arlington, Texas, 2-0. Rangers on top. Raindrops and been dodging hits and walks. He's walked 2. Allowed 4 hits, got around a leadoff walk last inning. We just had a chance to visit with his manager, Ron Washington, who is in his 5th year. Won the pennant last year, but lost here in Arlington in the 5th game to the San Francisco Giants with all that great pitching. Lincecum so good in that series in the postseason, but really everybody in the rotation. And the Giants won it all in 2010. Now Ordonez takes ball 1. Maglio bounced into a double play with bases loaded, 1 out in the 1st. Ball 2. Wilson is pitching for his team, pitching in the postseason, and pitching for a contract. He is a free agent at the end of the year. 2-1. Good time in the regular season for CJ to tie for 4th in the AL with 16 wins. 7th in the league with an ERA of 2.94. For a guy that's a former closer, he looks like a guy you can bank on getting 200 innings from. That's strike 2.
He's held up so well, you know, the last 2 years from coming from the bullpen. I think he's answered a lot of questions. There's going to be teams lining up this winter.
Here's a 2-2. That's high as the rain starts to fall again. Got him looking. Strikeout number 4. Here's our chat with Ron Washington. First question was about Wilson getting into and then out of trouble.
Oh, you're right there. You know, I feel like he's throwing the ball well. He's just getting himself in trouble, but he's been able to make pitches when he had to get out the inning. Those double plays are huge. I don't want to constantly see that happen, though.
Wash, you look so comfortable letting your guys play. Has it always been the case, or have they grown on you? Have they proved it to you?
They've proven it to me, Terry, and they certainly have grown on me. But, you know, they go out there, and I let them be free and let them play the game of baseball so the talents that they have can come out.
Did you always know Terry Francona was destined to be a broadcaster?
Always.
Careful, Wash. I got the microphone.
He's been on you all game already.
I know he is. We go way, way, way back.
All right, Ron, thanks.
Thank you, guys.
All right. Ron Washington, who, and you were asking the question, Terry, a lot of managers seem to want to micromanage their team and a game, and Washington just seems to let them go.
And I think he's actually comfortable letting Jackie Moore do a lot of the in-game things, which is not the easiest thing to do. Jackie's sitting right there in the picture. But one of Wash's strengths is players love him. They want to play for him. And in today's game with big contracts and things like that, that's a huge compliment to Wash.
Avila's at the plate, 1 out, nobody on. Alex flat out to left his first time. Ended the season red hot with the bat. 2-2.
It seemed as Avila learned to use the left field side of the ballpark, from center field over to left field, he became that much better of a hitter. And it's hard to do that at the big league level.
The 2-2. 2 out. And now C.J. Wilson seems to be settling in.
You see against left-handers, CJ's using more of a traditional slider, and against the righties, he's using the cutter to put away hitters.
Two out, nobody on. Here is Johnny Peralta. Strike one. Johnny was moved over to third base as his time with the Indians wound down. He doesn't have the range he once had. Tigers actually declined an option on his contract and then re-signed him to a 2-year deal coming into this season. And it's paid off. He had 299 with 21 home runs.
86 RBIs. He's still productive.
One and two. C.J. Wilson could strike out the side.
And he threw that pitch with some conviction.
Two and two. Tigers won 95 games during the regular season. Texas won 96. That's why they have the home field advantage in this ALCS. Starts in Arlington. Foul.
When Wilson elevates that cutter, it's more side to side, and when he gets it down the zone, has a little bit of tilt to it, a little bit of depth, so it's kind of a different pitch.
Texas on top. Cruz flied out to left. His first time up. Takes ball one. Now 1 for 16 this postseason is Nelson. 2-0.
He's following the glove. He's just missing away, and it's getting. You can tell he's getting frustrated.
In the air to left, at the wall. 3-0. That had to feel good for a guy who's been awfully frustrated as he takes Verlander out of the park. Strike one on Murphy.
That's power against power, and he cheated to get to it because he was ahead of the count.
Strike two on Murphy.
And that's a big, big run right there. They scored first, and now they scored next. That's a big run.
That's Verlander talking to the home plate umpire, Tim Welke, after the home run. You don't have to watch for very long to see the frustration that Verlander is having with the strike zone tonight. He barely missed. He fell behind Nelson Cruz, and Nelson jumped up and bit him.
But you can also see Tim Welke listening and not coming back at him. I think he knows he's frustrated, and he listened, and he just kind of nodded and let him go about his business.
A lot more work tonight for Verlander. 3-2 pitch. Santiago on 2 hops. 1 away. Brings in Mitch Moreland, who shattered his bat with a runner at third, 1 out. Grounded back to Verlander, his first time up. It's a matchup of the left-hander Derek Holland against the hard-throwing right-hander Max Scherzer in Game 2 tomorrow evening. Yeah. With 1 out. Fly ball into right field. Coming to grab it is Ordonez, 2 out. And back to the top of the order, Kinsler. Just to go on about Scherzer, tomorrow night starter for Detroit. He won Game 2, the division series of the Yankees 5-3. And win a total of 7 2/3 against the Yankees. Allowed just 4 hits. Worked an inning and 2/3 relief. Game 5 2 nights ago.
And he's a name that maybe people outside of the game don't know yet, but they will.
Over but low, 1 ball, 1 strike. Nasty pitch for strike 2. Two and 2. Ripped. Foul.
Boy, you still see so much of the Rudy Jaramillo, his relationship with these hitters. They get that front foot down in a hurry, and they get into what they call a launch position. Same thing with Michael Young. They get that front foot down, and they're ready to let it go.
Kinsler hit 32 home runs during the regular season and hooks this one foul.
Rudy was the longtime hitting instructor here, hitting coach, that moved on to the Cubs. He had all those Rafael Palmeiro and Juan Gonzalez and all those good hitters, but he was part of the reason they were successful.
You're just going to lob bouquets out to coaches, hoping to get them on your next staff. Is that what I'm listening to?
Is this a job search?
Yeah. And I like him, and I think he's a good pitching coach. And
there's some general managers out there I'm really crazy about.
Here comes a 2-2 pitch from Verlander. And a full count's been a good at bat for Ian Kinsler.
And again, he's seen a lot of pitches. He gets really dangerous. If Verlander throws the ball where he doesn't want to, he's going to have a heck of a swing here.
Right down the middle, struck him out looking. Who led it off? Nelson Cruz. That's what he did. 3-0 Texas after 4. Back after this from your local Fox station. On and off, the rain picks up a little bit as we go into the 5th. It'll be the 8, 9, and 1 hitters against C.J. Wilson, who has settled in. Struck out the side in the 4th. Had a meeting, the home plate umpire, head of the grounds crew here during the break. Giving Tim Welke, who's the crew chief, an update on the weather. The count goes to 0-2. Now the rain really picks up. 1-2. Remember, a change in the postseason now. A couple of years ago, they want to play these games to their conclusion. That ball is fair down the left field line, and Santiago will cruise into second with a leadoff double. Here's that meeting with home plate umpire Tim Welke.
What's up, Dennis? It's 8:30. Starting to fill in a little bit below us. I mean, it's pretty intense south coming up, but it's like the tropical stuff. It blows up big, and it goes away. And it blows up big, goes away. So all I can say to you is you're going to have to make that call. I mean, if I knew we were going to get hammered and tarp puller and all that, then just keep coming out and letting me know. That's all I want. It's going to be every half. Yeah, that's okay. Thanks, Dennis. Thank you.
So he'll continue to get updates. We'll continue to give them to you. Right now, runner at second, nobody out. Number 9-man, Brandon Edge, and now it's pouring, and they're going to put the tarp on.
You know, I was just going to make the comment. The grounds crew isn't by the tarp, so we're okay. Obviously, I was wrong.
They're by it in a hurry now. And so we will have delay here in the middle of game one with the Rangers leading 3-0. It is about 18 minutes until 9 o'clock. And I'll ask you, if you're in the dugout right now, if you're Jim Leland and you're managing Justin Verlander, you're managing, heck, C.J. Wilson. You know, these rain delays with so much on the line in the postseason makes it awfully tough.
It makes it doubly tough. And I guarantee you the first thing that Mike Maddox did was look at his watch, just like we did, to see what time this delay started. Because the longer it goes, what they'll probably do is about every 10 minutes get him up and play catch. You know, there's places that do it in the back with the tunnels and everything. But you got to factor that in with the wear and tear on his arm. And, you know, you start getting up around 100 pitches, 110. It's actually a lot more than that because you've been down for a while.
You can see the wind is just wreaking havoc with the tarp, getting underneath, and it's a race to try to get that thing onto the infield.
Now, the field shouldn't be horrible by the time they get this tarp on. But again, if it rains for an hour or so, you know, you're asking a lot of a pitcher. And I know it's the playoffs, and that's a different story. In the regular season, you'll see a lot of times the guys won't go back out.
If that's the case, then the question would be, who has the advantage? To me, with the arms that Texas has in its bullpen, including Ogando, who has started all year, that's a big advantage for the Rangers.
I would think that if it does last a while and they need to change pitchers, Ron Washington talked about using Ogando as his kind of his wild card. I wouldn't be surprised if you see him come in the game and see how far he can run out the string.
So a good job by the grounds crew to get this tarp on the field. Now they try to secure it with the wind getting underneath it. We will have an update weather-wise from Rick Dickert back in Los Angeles. And he will give us an update on what we're dealing with here in Arlington, Texas.
Yeah, we're right on the line here. You can see a large, solid area of rain with embedded thunderstorms progressing very slowly east into the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. And you can see where the ballpark is there. Dallas is dry. Fort Worth is getting rained on heavily. And that band is just now moving over the area and will continue to slowly move eastward over the ballpark. So it looks like we're in for a couple of hours of pretty significant rain here. And we'll continue to watch it with the radar here in L.A.
Wow, a couple
hours. Yeah, yeah.
Well, Terry, you're going to make these two games count.
That'll change your pitching plans in a hurry.
I'd say so.
That's a nightmare right now for these guys. I guarantee you the pitchers are down there and they're begging to pitch. I don't care how long the rain delay is. They're competitors. They want to stay out there, but that's tough duty.
It is a 3-0 game here in the top of the 5th inning. We will take a break.
As a player, It can get a little frustrating because, you know, once you start getting into the rhythm of the game, you know, then you got to stop. But, you know, what can you do?
Now, Justin Verlander, not the same guy he was in Game 3 of the Division Series tonight. What are you seeing?
Well, I mean, he's been struggling a little bit with his command, with his fastball, which, you know, it's made him like getting some hitters counts, and you know, he's been having a little hard time getting into a rhythm. But, you know, we just got to keep battling. It's, you know, it's still anybody's game.
On the other side, C.J. Wilson, obviously pitching very well, settled down after that first inning. What has made him so successful tonight?
Yeah, after that first inning, you know, he started really, you know, pumping strikes and mixing up his pitches well with his cutter and his breaking ball and his two-seamer, and he's kept us off balance. And you know, but hopefully once this rain stops, we can maybe get something going.
Now, I know you're not the manager, but what do you expect is going on right now between Leland and Verlander? What is Justin telling him?
Well, I'm sure Justin's telling him, you know, I can go and, you know, until my arm falls off. So, you know, we got to try and scratch out a run or two here and just chip away, and you know, we'll see how far you can get us into this game.
Alex, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Joe, back to you.
All right, Kenny, thank you. And keep working down there. We may need you before the end of this rain delay a little bit more. We look ahead to tomorrow and what's coming up on the NFL on Fox. And here is your slate of games.
How disruptive is it to your momentum, everything that's going on in the game?
Well, you really can't control it. You know, you just kind of got to deal with it and, you know, keep playing. Like you said, we dealt with it before, and, you know, it really doesn't change anything. We still got to go out there and we got to play.
What have you seen from C.J. Wilson so far?
He's been using both sides of the place well. You know, he's commanding, you know, all his pitches, and, you know, he's doing a good job out there.
That play in the first inning, I know you probably don't want to talk about it, but it seemed like just one of those odd things where it just happened. Tell me about it.
Yeah, you know, it's really no excuses. You know, it hit my glove and I should have caught it. Yeah, you know, I had my eye on it the whole time, and, you know, when I went to catch it, it just hit the end of my gloves.
One of the concerns for the Tigers coming in was that you had that emotional celebration Thursday night after beating the Yankees. We're only 2 days later here. How difficult was it simply to get back up for this series?
It's not difficult at all. You know, this is what we play for right here, and you know, we just can try to continue to play hard and, you know, leave it all out there on the field.
Austin, thank you very much. Joe, back to you.
All right, Kenny, thank you. So that's where we are. You can see how they've folded up the tarp, and they're about to, I guess, roll it up and get it off here, and maybe we can get back to baseball here relatively shortly. And all this talk about the starters having to duck out of here may be premature. I'm sure he'd take the ball. Heck, either one of them, Ryan or Maddox. Take a break and come right back. Is disappearing. MLB playoffs continue tomorrow. Game 1 of the NLCS between the Cardinals and the Brewers at 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific on TBS. Then it's Game 2 of the ALCS here on Fox. Coverage begins at 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific. We will throw it from the booth to the pregame set. Chris Rose, it's all yours.
All right, Joe, thank you very much. Joined by the White Sox two-time All-Star catcher, A.J. Pierzynski. Eric Karros, he left us about 20 minutes ago or so.
Apparently nobody wants to talk to him in the Rangers locker room. I don't know.
Don't say that. He is working hard down there. We're miking him up. He'll be joining us shortly, hopefully. Your thoughts on what Justin Verlander has delivered so far? You know, when you go 24-5 during the regular season, there aren't a lot of frustrating moments. We've seen it tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. You can see him yelling at the umpire, let's go, let's go, let's go. He thinks he's getting squeezed. He believes he's getting squeezed. And the biggest part about it is he is getting squeezed a little bit, and he's giving up hits. He's giving up home runs. We give the Rangers credit. They've had a great approach against him. And you know what? He's a little mad at Welke here. He's pitched to Nelson Cruz. He thought it was a strike. Then the next pitch, he gives up a home run, a long home run. So Justin Verlander's a little bit frustrated, as you can tell, as he has a conversation again here with Welke. But at the end of the day, he's just got to make better pitches, and he hasn't done that tonight.
All right, we just got word that they're going to resume the game at about 9:20 local time. That's about 15 minutes from now. You're talking about a 40-45 minute delay for C.J. Wilson, who's going to be back on the bump, and then longer for Justin Verlander. Do you think we will see the starting pitchers go back out there?
I actually think we will see both of them, because they both have cages in their locker room here. They both have the ability to throw, so they're both not sitting in there doing nothing. They're both throwing the ball, staying warm and staying ready. And you know what? They'll both be out there because they're both competitors, and they both want the ball in this game.
All right, well, one guy who would love to trot out there, I'm sure, is Baseball Hall of Famer Nolan Ryan. He is standing by, not with Eric Karros because his mic's not working, but Ken Rosenthal. Kenny?
Thanks, Chris. We're just getting team president Nolan Ryan off the phone here with his general manager. Nolan, we're supposed to resume at 9:20. What do you expect from C.J. Wilson? Coming back?
Well, I believe he will, because we've had him in this position before, and then I think with his experience coming out of the bullpen, I think he's accustomed to things like this. The things that you worry about a starter is that if they get in the real late innings where they've accumulated a lot of pitches and then sit for an hour plus, then it's harder for them to come back.
Now, what's your expectation for the rest of the night? What are you being told about the forecast?
Well, we think we have another window opportunity here, and what we're hoping is they were accurate on the first window that we had. They said it'd be 8:30 or later that we'd get it, and so hopefully that we'll have that window again and we'll get it in.
Now, Justin Verlander, he has said many times that you are his hero. You were his hero growing up. What do you see in him?
Well, I've seen a growth in him as a pitcher, and it doesn't surprise me that he had the year he's had with the way he uses his off-speed pitches now, and he commands them, and his ability to locate his fastball, and then also the fact that he has the ability to throw harder in the later innings.
That's something you're kind of familiar with yourself.
Well, he is a very unique package, and he's fun to watch when he's not pitching against your team, but I always enjoy watching somebody go to work like him, and so it's been special to watch him this year.
No, and it almost seems like there's been a renaissance of baseball here. The crowd tonight is great. It was great last year during the postseason. What has happened with the environment in this ballpark?
Well, I think the atmosphere has changed here because of the team that we feel. Not only are we a better team than what they'd had in the last 10 years, but also the team plays well as a team. They play hard. Ron has brought this team together, and I think the fans appreciate their effort and the fact that they do pull for each other, and that they recognize it takes a team effort to win. So I think it's a combination of a lot of things, and I think the fans really appreciate that, and they've been very supportive over the last 2 years for us.
Nolan, thank you very much. Chris, back to you on the set.
All right, Kenny, thank you very much. You heard the Hall of Famer glowing remarks about Justin Verlander, and the comparisons are right there. We showed them to you earlier in the game, courtesy of Joe and Tito. And, I mean, you look at him, obviously you're lucky. You never faced Nolan Ryan out there.
I missed Nolan, but our manager did.
I'm sure Robin Ventura enjoys hearing that right now. But what do you think? I mean, you're a baseball fan. You saw Nolan Ryan throw the ball. And when you step in against Justin Verlander, do you think Nolan Ryan?
He's got to be the closest you can get nowadays in the big leagues because of the 100-mile-an-hour fastball, the nasty curveball, everything he brings to the table, and the intimidating presence that Justin Verlander is. So he's as close as we have now, and we're watching something special. And luckily for me, I faced him the most out of anybody.
And you've done very well. Remember, career 279
somewhat.
average with 3
I'll take
homers.
that off Justin Verlander.
Okay, not too bad. So there you see the comparisons. Once again, you expect both C.J. Wilson and Justin Verlander to get back on the mound. In fact, you see C.J. Wilson right now warming up and getting loose. He's only thrown 72 pitches. Verlander 82. You hear Jim Leyland talking all the time about big picture. Both managers know this is not going to be a short series. They're going to need their horses in Game 5 as well.
Absolutely, but Justin Verlander will be back out on the mound. If it's me, if I'm Jim Leyland, I'm sending him back out there. You see C.J. Wilson warming up there. He changed gloves, though. Is that legal? Can you go from a red glove to a blue glove?
I would imagine so. Where you could change bat color, right?
It might ruin his mojo, though. He had the mojo going with the red glove.
Would you do that?
I wouldn't. I'd be exactly the same thing as I had going on before, but that's C.J. Wilson. He's a little different of a guy.
What do you think of C.J. Wilson's performance? He got out of trouble with double play grounders in the first and the third, but he's got 6 strikeouts so far.
He's been outstanding. After the first inning where he got the double play from Maglio, after that he settled in real nice. He's got the backdoor cutter going, along with the back foot cutter, which for a right-handed hitter off a lefty is the one pitch. If you're able to throw that, you can get strikeouts on a right-handed hitter, and he's been able to do that to Brandon Inge and other guys, and that's why he's been doing it.
Once again, play will resume in about 10 minutes with the score. Rangers up 3-0. You want to say anything to Karros real quickly?
Karros, great interviews. We miss you up here.
We miss you. EK, get back up here for the post-game show. So we are getting closer to the resumption of Game 1 of the American League Championship Series, where the Rangers lead the Tigers 3-0 in Arlington.
Ball a little
bit. So I think the big issue has been that, and the control has not been real good so far.
Jim, I know you love doing this in between games. I'm supposed to ask you a question. I just want to let you go back and manage.
No, well, I appreciate that, Tito. Thank you very much.
That's awful. That's ridiculous. Fine. Thanks, Jim. I mean, if you compare the two interviews, Ron Washington was smiling. He was happy. He's winning. Jim Leland is losing. And he didn't want to be there at all.
And I completely cheesed up. You know, I know that. I realize that. He's the gold standard. And it was hard. I was trying to think of a question to ask him, and I couldn't come up with it.
So you just bowed out?
I bowed out. Probably not very gracefully.
You could have tapped me. I had something locked and loaded, ready to go.
I didn't know what to do.
But that is a piece of these games. We try to bring you something, by the way, that probably got you here tonight with as good as you were during our in-game interviews. And, you know, most people now know Terry is the manager. 1-minute delay, runner at second, nobody out, and a 1-0 count on Brandon Inge. And after 41 minutes, Inge grounds out one away. That's all with that. Terry, you just worked your way through your first on camera, open, rain delay. You're getting it all in.
We're getting it all in. And I'm getting all these text messages from, you know, Don Orsillo, Chris Wheeler, announcers. Yeah. And I got to tell you, with their limited talent pool, if they can do it, I got to be able to do it.
Now, Don Orsillo,
he stinks. He stinks.
Wheels is best friends with Carver, but Don Orsillo, I think, is as good as they come.
I hate to say that with anybody. He is actually terrific.
Here is Austin Jackson, runner at second, one out. Austin is 0 for 2. And a ball up and away from Wilson, who doesn't look like his velocity has left him after 41-minute delay.
You know, runner on second, nobody out, and it was obvious Inge wasn't trying to move the runner. He was looking to hit a ball, you know, left field with some authority.
Instead, he hit it right to Beltre, who's a vacuum over there at third base. The count's gone to 2-0 on Austin Jackson, who is a career .224 hitter. The runners in scoring position, but now the count's in his favor.
And this is where C.J. Wilson uses that cutter. And fastball counts, he'll just take a little bit off, throw, you know, get a little movement on the cutter, some late action, and get it off the barrel.
2-1.
And there it is right there.
During the rain delay, he went out for a long toss with the rain falling a little bit with a blue glove, and now he's back on the mound with his gamer here at home, the red one. Here's a 2-1. 2-2. They may be a little damp, but they're still loud in this sold-out Rangers ballpark. Line drive into right center field is going to put Detroit on the board. Austin Jackson delivers, and he will think about 3, hold at 2 with an RBI double. It's 3-1.
What a nice swing. What a nice swing. Tried to backdoor the breaking ball, and he stayed inside it. Didn't try to do too much. That's beautiful.
C.J. Wilson missed his spot by a lot. We saw Napoli having to shift out late to try and receive that pitch, and it never got to him because Jackson plugged the gap in right center.
Yeah, he wanted to wrap that around his back ankle, never got close.
And so now Ryan Rayburn is the tying run digging in. A single, a walk. Runner at second, one out. One out here with a guy at second base, really the only running threat that the Tigers have in their lineup. Austin Jackson at second with 22 steals, but remember Miguel Cabrera and that home run pop waits on deck. Ball 1.
I would think in order of importance right now, they want to see Cabrera come up to hit with a runner on base as opposed to Chance didn't steal on that base.
Nobody getting loose for the Rangers in their pen. That could change in a hurry if Rayburn gets on. A 1-0. 2-0. Rayburn hit 14 home runs during the regular season. He's 3 for 6 so far this postseason, 1 RBI. 2-0. 3-0. And Wilson thought he had strike 1. Instead, it's ball 3. It's Benoit standing up, but we haven't seen Porcello get ready, or maybe Verlander's throwing underneath.
I'm telling you, I think he's throwing underneath.
Here is a 3-0. On 4 pitches, a walk to bring up Cabrera, to bring Mike Maddox out to the mound.
And this is the one guy they didn't want to face in this situation.
Miguel Cabrera, who is the league's best hitter at .344, 30 home runs. A guy who for 8 straight seasons has hit .290 or better, 25 or more home runs, 100 or more RBIs. That is the 4th best streak of that nature. Gehrig did it 12 years in a row. Manny did it 10. Albert Pujols 9, and then Miguel Cabrera. Defense actually playing Cabrera to hit it the other way in the outfield. That bounces in, and still nobody getting loose for the Rangers in their bullpen.
I can hear that phone ringing from up here, though. You're going to see somebody get up in a second here.
And here they go. Gondo starts to get loose. 2 on, 1 out. And that's 6 in a row that have missed from C.J. Wilson. There's Ogando with a switch hitting Victor Martinez on deck. Dangerous pitch. Instead, it's ball 3.
And Cabrera's not even flinching. And he's not taking all the way there. He's just seeing the ball really good.
Cabrera get out of the box, walked about 10 feet up the line, now gets back in. The count's 3-0. On the inside corner, and Cabrera looked ready to swing. It's 3-1. Good pitch on 3-0. Inside to load him up.
And this is where the Victor Martinez factor comes in. He's such a professional hitter. They didn't want Cabrera to beat him, and Victor's sitting here now with bases loaded.
Gondo trying to get ready in a hurry. Last year, a big weapon out of the pen for the Rangers. This year, a starter, but he's been good back out of the pen this postseason. Here is Victor Martinez. a strike on a borderline pitch over the inside corner. Hit .500 this year with the bases loaded.
You can see he doesn't want to throw the fastball. He wants to have some kind of cut to it.
Detroit down by 2. 5th inning, game 1, strike 2.
Got to believe he's pitching right now to stay in the game. He's got to be one hitter away from with righties on deck. They got to be thinking about going to Ogando.
Bases loaded, 1 out. That gets away. Here comes Austin Jackson to make it a 1-run game. It's 3-2 as that one got away from the catcher Napoli.
Boy, that changed the whole sequence. Now, where does the infield play? You got pretty good speed at third.
It scored a wild pitch. That ball hit the glove before it hit the dirt. And it's a 1-run game with 2nd and 3rd, 1 out. And a 1-2 count.
And even though Victor's down in the count, this is where he's so good. He puts the ball in play here.
Rayburn at 3rd, down at 2nd is Cabrera. Waste that pitch as he fouled it back. A high delivery, still 1-2. And you see what Martinez, who led the league in hitting with runners in scoring position, has done since the last week of July.
Texas is conceding this run. They'll take the tie. They don't want to give up that 2nd run.
Wilson looks the runner at 3rd back and gets the out. 2 away. Missed chance for Victor Martinez, and now Maglio Ordonez is coming up, and we go pitch by pitch. We got that borderline strike to start the at-bat. The one that got away to score the run, and then this one got out number 2.
Victor got his pitch he could handle and didn't hit it. Now this is interesting because you're loading the bases to face a left-hander, but you also got a guy on the mound that if he gets behind in the count, you're probably taking away a pitch, one of his best pitches.
He's walked 2 in the inning already. I know you want to get C.J. Wilson through 5. You could make a case that Ogando against Maglio Ordonez gives the Rangers a better chance than Wilson against a left-handed hitting Avila.
And I'm sure that's a conversation that they were having down in the dugout. But they're going to let Wilson face Avila, and it's his ball game right now. But that's got to be his last hitter.
It'll be lefty on lefty after this loads him up. And here comes the rain. And it is pounding down.
Well, if he gets behind in the count now, you're going to take away that breaking ball down, the one he just threw for the wild pitch of the pass ball, because that's the last thing they want to do. And here we go.
And they're going to bring the tarp back on the field. And after a 41-minute delay, we're going to have another. They played 13 minutes. The Tigers got 2 runs. They have the bases loaded, 2 out. There's Verlander. We finally see Justin.
Now this will be really interesting. If this lasts any time at all, when they go back out, if they go out and get somebody like an Uehara or Darren Oliver to try to snuff this out and then go to Ogando.
Because those two are good against left-handed
Very good.
hitters.
Uehara is, in my opinion, he throws all strikes. He's dominated left-handers. Probably just what you want in that situation. And he's a reliever. Ogando hasn't been relieving this year. That's a tough situation to bring that kid into.
If you want to read the lips of Justin Verlander, he's saying to Jim Leyland, I'm good.
And I have a feeling Jim Leyland's probably going to listen to him at least for a while.
Alex Avila at the dish. Chris Rose rejoined by the White Sox two-time All-Star catcher A.J. Pierzynski and Eric Karros. Unfortunately, you actually have to say something during this rain delay.
Welcome back.
Well, I was going to get some ice cream. You know, it's going to be interesting to see what Wash does in the Texas Rangers coming back after delay. I mean, for me, I've got to bring Ogando in. He was warming up. Avila's at the plate. Avila 0 for 6 with 2 strikeouts. I mean, the game's in the balance right here.
For me, I'm going with the ageless one, Darren Oliver. Lefty on lefty. Alex has struggled a little bit against C.J. Wilson and against lefties this whole year. But knowing Wash, he might run C.J. Wilson back out there to give him one more out and try to get a win. If not, Ogando's in right after that.
Well, hold on. This isn't the regular season. We're not talking about padding your win stats here. It's the playoffs. You got to win.
Free agent year. He wants to get wins for his free agent year.
CJ, no, I mean, you got a responsibility to 25 guys in that clubhouse. You've got a responsibility to these fans right now. It's not about individual stats. Again, Ogando has had tremendous success against his Tiger Ball Club, and Wash told us prior to the game he would use them in any type of situation. This is the perfect situation.
You know, Alexi Ogando, as you pointed out in the pregame show, 3 wins against the Tigers. It was the Rangers' only 3 wins this year.
Can you make it 4?
Well, he could. He could if he gets out there.
Doesn't get the win.
Huh?
Oh, yeah, he could get the win.
He would get the win.
Right.
He'd be 4-0 against them.
But let me throw this at you, because we're seeing that there's rain shower, then there's some breakage, then there's some rain shower. Does Ron Washington start thinking, do I use a guy who I only want to use for one batter? Because Ogando's a guy he can stretch out for a couple innings. Is that a possibility?
That's why I'm saying Darren Oliver is the choice for me. If I'm the manager right here and I don't want to use C.J. Wilson, I'm going Darren Oliver. The guy doesn't age. He's 40-something years old. He gets lefties out with a cutter and a good curveball. And against Alex Avila with the bases loaded right here, you know he's going to throw it over. He's been in every situation possible. For me, it's Darren Oliver, no choice.
I'm telling you right now, we're sitting here talking about the Rangers. What about Detroit? Does Verlander go back out there?
Well, you saw him mouth to Jim Leyland. Hey, man, I'm good.
No way.
I heard him say he wanted to pitch against the Yankees, too, in Game 5.
No way.
Yeah, well,
not happen. I mean, how do you run Verlander out there? It's just like Terry Francona said. I mean, this is going to, the warming up, the sitting down, the warming up, that's going to impact him for his next start besides this one.
Yeah, by the way, he hasn't thrown a pitch in this game in more than an hour. At least C.J. Wilson's been out there, right?
There's no way he goes back out.
Do we have the shot, guys, of Justin Verlander? Watch this. I'm good. I'm good, Skip.
He can say he's good all he wants, but if I'm Jim Leyland, there's no way I'm running him back out there. You just can't. You can't take the chance with that guy.
Well, who are you, though? Jim Leyland or Ron Washington? I mean,
I'm going to play both right now. I'm going to be both sides, but since I predicted the Tigers to win, Jim Leyland, don't send Justin back out there. I know he wants to, but we need him for the long series.
We. You hear that?
We.
Okay, the Tigers still have to pitch at least 4 more innings in this game. Do they go to a guy, if Verlander's not available, like Brad Penny, who hasn't thrown a pitch since September 25th? Do they go to a left-hander like Phil Koch, a guy that can give you some length? He's been a starter at times this year. Where do they go if they don't bring back Verlander?
I'm saying you either go Porcello or Brad Penny. Either way, you have to go with somebody that can give you more than 1 inning. And if he gives you more than 1 inning, then you can start matching up in the 6th and 7th and 8th and 9th. But until that point right now, you got to get somebody that can get you to the 6 or 7. And Phil Koch was a starter early in the year, but right now he's a matchup lefty. Schlereth, matchup lefty. Benoit, righty. Perry coming out of the pen for an inning at a time. That's what you have. So right now it's Penny or Porcello.
Okay, let's get a quick update on Justin Verlander. Ken Rosenthal, what do you have?
Chris, Jeff Jones, the pitching coach of the Tigers, just told me that it looks like Justin Verlander is done. And if you go back to what Mike Maddox told us during the first rain delay about the 60-minute rule for C.J. Wilson, how they weren't going to bring him back after an hour, well, this will be well over an hour for Verlander. He was throwing underneath the stands here in a batting cage, but this looks like it will be it for him.
Okay, Ken Rosenthal reporting from the Tigers dugout. We appreciate it. I don't want to look too far ahead in this series, but Verlander's thrown 82 pitches. He didn't throw under 104 in any regular season start this year. Is there any possibility that we see him start Game 4 of this series?
No, I don't think there's any way, because the whole idea of Verlander, he's got to get some rest. If you try to bring him back in Game 4, I mean, the only way you possibly do that is if you're down 3-0. But I'm not so sure I'd do that anyhow, because you're going to have to win with the other guys. For me, Verlander stays on regular rest. Look, it's a 3-2 ball game. You still got an opportunity to win this game.
Yeah, that's what Jim Leland told us, by the way, that he won't pitch 1, 4, and 7 if necessary. He'll go 1 and 5.
But I will say this, if things change and he only threw 82 pitches, if they need him, he'll be back in Game 4. I firmly believe if they're down 2-1 and they're in Detroit and they need to win that game and Rick Porcello goes and takes them out right now, you'll see Justin Verlander out there.
You don't have some sort of ulterior motive here to try and, use up all his bullets for 2011 so you don't see him in 2012?
Yeah, so I don't see him 6 times again like we did this year? Yeah.
Just checking. All right, Ken Rosenthal, a busy bee down there in the Tigers dugout. Who do you have?
I've got Brandon Inge with me, the Tigers third baseman. Chris, Brandon, how frustrating is this for you guys? You're mounting a rally there, then the rain starts again.
Well, I mean, it's all right. It's part of baseball. Obviously, we dealt with it in New York, too, so it's, came out fine in there in New York, so maybe we can mount another comeback. I don't know. It might work out good for us. I don't know if CJ's going to be able to come back out. We've got lefty on lefty right now, so it might work out in our favor.
How about the fact that Justin probably won't come back either?
Well, I know if you leave it up to him, he's going to try to come back up, but you have to look down the road too. I mean, I know it's playoffs and you have to take it as one game at a time, but I don't know. That's a tough call. We don't know what we're going to do yet.
Let's talk about your season a little bit. You went down to AAA rather than accept the release from the Tigers. You wanted to be with this team. Tell me why you did that.
Well, I've been here for a long time and made a lot of friends, a lot of family along the way. And I just didn't want to give up on this ball club. And, it was no one's fault but my own, the way I was hitting. So I figured I may as well go down and put a little hard work in, try to fix my swing a little bit to get back. And just didn't want to give up on the guys. I didn't want to go out that way.
You told me also that you wanted to show your children that quitting is not the way to do it.
Yeah, I definitely, looking back on it, I'm glad I did it the way I did. No matter how the season turns out, but I didn't quit, and I wasn't. I wouldn't teach that to my kids. I don't like people quitting things. So I just try to represent my kids the way I would want them to do things.
Now you wear your kids with your tattoos, right? Where are they? We show them. There we go. It's Tyler.
Tyler and Chase.
It's pretty good. Now you told me that Tyler and Chase had said to you, "Hey, what happened? Did you get traded to the Toledo Mud Hens?" Now they're young kids. They didn't quite get it.
No, they didn't get it at that point, which it's okay. But yeah, they just thought it was a different team I got traded to. I went down to Toledo, and I just left it at that. It's a different team. I guess they're right. I mean, kids pick up on a lot more than we think they do. So they enjoyed it, though. They liked the little mud hen. It looked like a little chicken, so they enjoyed it.
Brandon, last thing. What about this resumption here once you guys get going again? You've gotten to Wilson. How do you see this game playing out? Obviously with the bullpens involved.
Well, at this point, it's going to be who's going to scratch and claw their way to the top on this one. Comes down to pure determination, and we obviously know how momentum goes in postseason, so you have to do what you can here. It's not easy to deal with, but it's going to be whoever is going to come out and really grind out some at bats.
Brandon, thanks a lot.
No problem, buddy.
Chris, back to you in the set.
Kenny, thank you very much. We are still under a rain delay. Rangers lead the Tigers 3-2 here in Game 1 of the ALCS. Rain seems to be coming down a little bit harder. Bases loaded for Detroit. Top of 5. 2 outs. Now, obviously, a very exciting series so far in the early going of the ALCS, coming on the heels of a remarkable round 1 of the postseason. And in fact, there were 20 possible games to be played in the first round. We saw 19 as 3 of those 4 series went the distance. The only one that didn't, the Rangers beat the Tampa Bay Rays in 4 games. The top 2 records in baseball, the Phillies, Yanks, they're watching us right now. And the first time since '05 that no Eastern Division team has advanced to the LCS. So how good was the first round of the postseason? Why don't you see for yourself? Here are the best plays from the first round of the playoffs.
Swing and a miss, got him on strike. Nice sweep. Oh, got it. 11 strikeouts for Justin Verlander.
Swung on, there it goes. Hit it, gone. It's a grand slam. Robbie Cano, don't you know?
That ball is history. Don't ring it.
Way to Rick Porcello. When the Tigers take the field in the bottom of this 5th inning, what will the score be? Right now it's 3-2, Texas on top. Bases loaded, 2 out for the Tigers when we resume play. Let's go to the set. Here's Chris and the guys.
All right, Joe, joined by White Sox 2-time All-Star catcher A.J. Brzezinski and Eric Karros. We heard Ron Washington say he's coming back with the left-hander Mike Gonzalez against a left-handed batter Alex Avila. Your thoughts?
Well, you know, he likes the matchup, the situational matchup. That's what Gonzalez is, a left-handed situational guy. The only thing about it, he has a tendency to get erratic. And what Ron Washington just told Ken Rosenthal, he said, look, if he gets on, then I'm going to go to the righty Ogando, or I'm going to start Ogando in the 6th. So if I'm going to use Ogando, why not use him right here in this situation against Avila, who is 0 for 6?
I know you wanted to use Darren Oliver. They're going a different direction, a slightly younger model left-hander. Do you agree with Karros, so that he should bring Ogando out if he's going to make this kind of move?
I agree with using the lefty to get the lefty out right here, but at the same time, Mike Gonzalez, as Tito said, can walk the house if you let him, and Alex Avila is not going to swing at anything. So this is a dangerous move right here for Ron Washington to go with Mike Gonzalez. I know he's had success the last couple weeks, but at the same time, man, you got to worry about him not throwing a strike with the bases loaded right here.
All right, what about the Tigers? They're down in this game 3-2. We saw the youngster Rick Porcello, 22-year-old right-hander, warming up. He was the scheduled starter, still may be for game 4 as well. What do we expect to see out of him?
A lot of sinkers, a lot of cutters, and danger when left-handers come up to hit. They hit .315 off him in the regular season. Josh Hamilton's due up second for the Rangers. Watch out, because he can't hit a ball about 900 feet off of him.
Eric, are you worried about a younger guy who doesn't have a lot of experience out of the bullpen coming in the middle of a game now?
What options do you have? I mean, that's the sort of thing right now.
You have Brad Penny, who's a more experienced guy.
And hasn't pitched for quite a while. And like I said, you know, right now it's not like Jim Leyland has a lot of options. You bring in Porcello, hope that he can give you a few innings, and then you turn it over to the regulars to end the game.
Okay, guys, we expect to pitch top of the 5th inning with the Tigers down 3-2 with the bases loaded and 2 outs, and Alex Avila at the dish against Mike Gonzalez. So pitch coming your way in about 5 minutes from the ballpark here in Arlington. Jim Leyland hoping, well, maybe he'll get a base hit and take the lead here in the 5th. We'll resume play after this.
For 2 minutes. Home umpire Tim Welke is making sure of the lineup cards, and Mike Gonzalez is getting set to go. And we will have a couple of moves before we resume play. We'll get to that in a second. We want to give you a look at today's Chase Freedom Cashback players to watch. With Gonzalez getting loose, Rangers late season bullpen acquisitions, Gonzalez on the list. With Uehara and Mike Adams, former setup guy with San Diego, and they made a combined 6 appearances in the division series. Don't get shortchanged. Get your cash back with Chase Freedom. So here is Gonzalez, and he is right into the action in ALCS game number 1. And here are the runners, and that's the other move, as Don Kelly takes over at first base, and he will do the running for Ordonez and take over in right. But right now, all eyes are on Avila and Mike Gonzalez. We've had roughly 110 minutes of rain delays, all in this top of the 5th. Be a 69-minute rain delay on the heels of a 41-minute delay. Here we go. Bases loaded, 2 out. Ball 1. Crowd still into it. The question is, can Gonzalez throw strikes? Avila 1 for 18 in the playoffs. To the second baseman Kinsler on 1 hop. Ladies and gentlemen, the top of the 5th inning is over barely, as Kinsler almost threw it into the dugout. 3-2 Texas halfway through game number 1 of this ALCS. So field after pinch running for Ordonez. He's got a cannon for an arm, and so does this guy. Rick Porcello, who worked Game 4 of the division series. There are his numbers against the Yankees. 14-game winner during the regular season and 31 starts. He is in his 3rd season. Hard-throwing right-hander, and he will deal with the 2, 3, and 4 hitters for the Rangers here in the 5th, up 3-2. Elvis Andrus is 0 for 2. Reached on an error, fouled out. Strike 1.
And his job is just to keep this game right where it is. And then Jim Leland will take the temperature and see who to go to, in the bullpen.
Scheduled to be the Game 4 starter in this ALCS, working in Game 1. Always got to show up to the park ready to go in the count 0-2. On deck is Hamilton, then Michael Young. And here comes an 0-2 from Porcello. Back to the pitcher, and Rick makes the play. 1 out. Let's go back to that last out and that last pitch to end the top of the 5th.
Alex Avila, especially for a young hitter, has done such a good job of commanding the strike zone. And he got ahead 1-0, and he went out of the zone there, had a chance to be 2-0. That was, he got a little bit anxious, and then they almost threw the ball in the dugout.
So the first pitch down and away, that one up and in. Avila went after it and looked like he did Gonzalez a favor. With the shift, Brandon Inge was just about left by himself on the left side of the infield, and Hamilton hit it right at him, 2 out. Josh Hamilton now 2 strikeouts, a ground out. Here's Michael Young.
And this is exactly what they wanted out of Porcello. Come out of the bullpen, throw strikes. He's got that good 2-seam movement. I'm sure they're breathing a little bit of a sigh of relief.
Tonight, Michael Young has walked and struck out. Career high .338 average during the regular season. 2 out, nobody on, and a strike hits the outside corner. Alexio Gondo will work in the 6th. Remember, he was warming up back in the 5th inning earlier when we had that first delay. Right after we resumed play, then C.J. Wilson got right into trouble, and Ogando got up. So he's had a layoff as well. And that's foul. Strike 2. Hugged the line, but stayed on the right side of it. Cabrera was helping first base umpire Larry Vanover. There's C.J. Wilson, who goes 4 2/3, allowing 2 runs on 6 hits. .92 and Young late with his swing. Over the course of the 4 2/3, C.J. Wilson walked 5, 1 intentional, 6 strikeouts, threw a wild pitch, which led to the 2nd run in the top of the 5th. TJ did not do what his bracelet says.
Throw strikes?
Which is throw strikes.
This is what makes Michael Young so tough. You make good pitches and he just fouls them off, and then you give him something he can handle and he rifles it into right field.
Lamb to hit the other way in the outfield with a count of 1 2. Wow. Got a 56-footer out of the hand of Porcello, 2 2. Long-time confidant of Jim Leland, Gene Lamont. Always at his side, and Lamont in his 6th year, he came to Detroit with Leland. They were in Pittsburgh together, and for a while Lamont managed the Pirates. 2-2. Peralta guides it across. A 1-2-3 5th inning for Porcello. It took him 11 pitches. We go to the 6th in game 1. Rangers take the field up by 1. Washington can go to out of his bullpen.
This is a kid with a big arm, and slider and split to go with it.
Looked good in the division series. Won 13 during the regular season. They skipped a start late, but he went into the rotation and he did well after being the setup reliever last year. Times closed games for Texas, and he deals with the bottom 3. Peralta, Santiago, and Brandon Inge. 3-2 Texas, game 1. There's a little 97 for you, strike 2.
That's to a hitter that's looking for a fastball and loves getting a fastball.
Ogando almost short arms the ball to the plate. It's kind of coming out of his chest.
And I'm sure there's some deception there on top of it. You're looking at 97, and you're probably not getting a real good look at it coming out of his shirt. That ball's got some kind of life going through the zone right now.
Peralta trying to get something started for the Tigers. Reaching for it and checks on Beltre. 1 out. Give you tonight's Volkswagen Passat trivia question. Baseball terminology. What is the origin of the word cheese when used to describe a great fastball? The origin of the word cheese to describe a great fastball, and that's what Ogando has as he's showing it already here in the 6th. Nothing out of you?
Is it one of my old teammates? Is that a possibility? How far does it go back?
I don't know.
I think I got this one.
Really?
Oh, yeah. I don't want to give it up until you. I think it's one of my old teammates.
First pitch in the dirt to Santiago. Switch hitters 2 for 2. Strike 1.
That's just here, hit it. I'm going to throw it as hard as I can, hit it.
He hits it to Kinsley. 2 out. That'll bring in Brandon Inge, who's 0 for 2 with a strikeout and a ground out. He grounded out with a runner at second, nobody out in that long top of the 5th after that first 41-minute rain delay. Totally fooled, strike 1.
That's where you're looking for 97 and you get 82.
.98 is low. A ball and a strike. Two and 1.
This is the kind of kid who'll make you look like a smart manager coming out of the bullpen.
You needed a few of those in 2011.
Look at Wash. Just stay still, Wash. He'll be okay.
Here is a 2-1. 3-1 on deck is Austin Jackson. And Jagayu in 2 different seasons hit as many as 27 home runs. But that power is not what it once was.
It just hasn't been there the last couple of years.
Should get a pitch to Hammer here on 3-1. That's behind the plate. Napoli gives it a look and it's out of play. Full count.
You know, he started him out with that breaking ball. He's throwing 97, so it's got to be in the back of Inge's head. Is there a chance he's going to throw me a breaking ball?
Here's his answer. Fastball missed inside. A 2-out walk. Go ahead, reveal who you think the answer to the Passat trivia question is.
I think it's Dennis Eckersley.
Well, Eckersley's got his own language.
He's got his own lingo. I think that's the first I ever heard of it. It may go way back past that, but
I think it does. Dennis is not that old. A common mid-19th century slang term, meaning the best of its kind, and then applied to baseball. However, Dennis Eckersley, the cheese master, helped to make the term even more popular in recent years.
So it's only 40 years off.
Here is with 1 on, 2 out. Pitch up and in, and the count 2-0. Austin Jackson doubled home a run his last time up, and eventually scored on a wild pitch. 2-0. He was looking to pound one, and he came up empty. 2-1.
At some point here, it wouldn't be surprising if they let Inge run, just because if he is out, you have Jackson leading off.
'97. And it's 2-2. '98 again, and the count's still 2-2. Eckersley, with his own language, would tell you a 98-mile-an-hour fastball will make you a lot of iron.
He got his own language.
The 2-2. Outside, a full count. That means Inge will take off.
He's making this harder than it needs to be right now. And again, they're going to hold him on just so he can't get a running jump and score on a double in the gap.
Tying run at first. There he goes, and a foul straight back.
Maybe by holding him on, maybe you save 2-3 steps. And just, again, that ball in the gap, maybe it stops a run.
Jackson drove home 45 out of that leadoff spot during the regular season. He also had the third most strikeouts with 181. He has struck out once tonight, and now twice. Who's coming up? Beltran, bases loaded last inning. Now in the bottom of the 6th, then Beltran takes a strike. Ryan Perry is the right-hander, and Phil Koch, the left-hander, getting loose for the Tigers in their pen. One ball, one strike. Down the right field line, slicing toward the seats and out of play. Strike 2. Rangers took over the AL West on May 18th. They never fell out of first. And the reason they dominated their division, 40-17 against the AL West. Only 7 over the 500 mark against all other opponents. But that's how they won the West. Handily. Inge got a good jump, high hop, 1 out. Brings in Mike Napoli, who has a hit. His base hit started a 2-run rally in the second. This guy went deep twice in the season's final day to end up getting home field advantage, as it turned out, in this series. Traded twice in 5 days, career high in home runs, and hit .383 after the All-Star break, second best across baseball. Who expected that? Certainly not the Angels or Toronto, both teams that traded him this offseason. Good rip, strike one.
He's got his buttons done, and he just lost 2 more on that swing. He's thinking one thing right there.
That evens the count. That puts Napoli in the hole. Napoli just the second American League catcher to hit .320 or better with 30 or more home runs. Second to do it. The other one to do it was here in Texas, Ivan Rodriguez, in '99. Hit .332, 35 home runs that season. Rangers hadn't won a postseason series. They lost 3 times to the Yankees in the '90s, and then finally broke through last year by beating Tampa Bay, then the Yankees, only to lose in the World Series to the Giants. 2-2. Full count.
And as well as Porcello's throwing, Leland's got lefty righty up. I think he feels like he got deep enough into this game where he can start matching up now.
And save Porcello for game 4.
And, well, that's probably the idea. Got Murphy and Moreland 8 and 9 sitting down there left-handed. That's probably why Coach's there.
Right-handed bat of Cruz on deck. And he will bat with 2 out. First strikeout for Porcello.
Look at the action down in the zone. Napoli wants something up so bad. That's a great pitch.
He'll put his gear on and get ready to catch Ogando in the 7th. Cruz homered his last time up. Well hit into right, but that will be handled by Kelly, and that is the end of the inning, and it wasn't so well hit. Down go the Rangers, 1-2-3. Still a 1-run game. Back after this from your local Fox station.
The prairie sky is wide and high. Deep in the heart.
That's where we are. We are in Arlington, Texas, and we move into the 7th inning. Good game. 2 rain delays, one of 41 minutes, the next of 69 minutes, both in the top of the 5th. The big hitters coming up. Ryan Rayburn first up against Ogando. Cabrera and Martinez the next 2. Detroit has never led in this game. Rayburn has been on base all 3 times. Now in the hole, 0-2.
The first pitch slider, it wasn't a very good pitch. It's a hanger right over the middle, but you gotta respect 96 to 98, and it ends up being a strike, putting the hitter in the hole.
Ogando, 1 away, strikeout number 2.
That's 98 at the top of the zone. There's not many guys that are going to hit it except for maybe this guy.
The biggest threat in this lineup, or just about any other across baseball, Miguel Cabrera, 28-year-old, tied for 10th in home runs with 30, tied for 6th in RBIs, number 1 in average. Strike 1.
And that's what I'm sure has Ron Washington a little concerned right now, is he can hit the ball to right field here, especially in this ballpark. Ogando can make a good pitch and it can still be a home run.
Darren Oliver getting loose, a left-hander for the Rangers. the middle. Kinsler, a nice backhand, has time. 2 out. And now Phil Koch, it appears, will take over in the bottom of the inning with Murphy, Moreland, and Kinsler coming up. Porcello will go 2. 1 strikeout. He was perfect. He did his job.
And the Tigers have, left-hander back-to-back coming up, but it's hard to. This kid looks like he can get anybody out.
Ogando has allowed just a walk. 2 out, nobody on. A breaking ball's down and in, ball 1. Victor Martinez has walked, bounced into a double play, and hit back to the pitcher. Strike 1. Two guys who have relieved and done well the last couple of innings. Ogando and Porcello combined for 27 wins as starters this season. Ogando had 13 of them, and he finds strike 2.
Now he's starting to change speeds. That makes it unfair.
.97-mile-per-hour fastball, and the way he's thrown. I mean, I know they've got a lot of weapons down there in the bullpen, but it'd be tough to take out.
I agree with you. This kid, and I know he just ate up right-handers during the year, but the way he's thrown right now, he's got plenty to get lefties out to.
So a starter all year, this will just be his 32nd pitch. And he blows away Victor Martinez. Over bottom of the 7th, Rangers batting up by 1. And Murphy went up there ready to hammer it against the lefty Koch. Murphy hit just .213 against left-handed pitching, and Koch is on the mound with Daniel Schlereth in the bullpen, the left-hander, along with Ryan Perry. 1-run game, 7th inning. Ball 1 inside.
It looks like Jim Leyland's perfectly content to match up for the next inning and a half here. Just try to keep this game right where it is. See if they can crawl back and tie it up. Then they'll go to their horses.
Here is a 1-1. That's into center, and Austin Jackson drifts back to grab it 1 out. Well, we look ahead to tomorrow, but it's actually tonight for those on the East Coast. MLB playoffs continue. Game 1 of the NLCS, Cardinals and Brewers at 4 Eastern, 1 Pacific on TBS. And then it's Game 2 of the ALCS here on Fox. Coverage begins at 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific, and a matchup of Derek Holland against Max Scherzer. There are the numbers from the ALDS. Scherzer was great against the Yankees. Holland was good enough against Tampa Bay. Pretty good pitch called, ball 1.
Well, that's a real good pitch. And Moreland this year, he's hit 15 of his 16 home runs against right-handers. And that's why Koch's in the game right now.
The 1-0 pitch. Koch, who started games earlier this season, has gone back to the bullpen, and now he has gone back with more velocity. He's throwing in the Yankee series. He was hitting 96, 97.
In shorter stints, he's throwing the ball a lot harder. And anytime you got a guy that gives you over 100 innings that can come out of the bullpen, that's a huge weapon.
Here is a 2-0. Into center, base hit. And it almost skipped by Jackson. That wet grass, and Jackson got his arm and glove down to stop it on that rocket by Mitch Moreland. Phil Coke is going to be taken out of the ball game with Ian Kinsler coming up. We saw Ryan Perry in the bullpen. We will see Ryan Perry on the mound. Coke is finished after a third of an inning. Perry coming in the seventh. Kinsler takes a strike as a 93-mile-per-hour fastball is poured in by Perry. Kinsler's single was an RBI single in the second. Now Al Albuquerque.
Best name in baseball.
Sounds made up. Joins Schlereth in the bullpen as that pitch misses down and in. 1-1. Albuquerque's name is so long in his back. I mean, it's almost like his name goes in a circle around his number. One and one on Kinsler. Top 32 home runs during the regular season. That's high. 2-1. Moreland is not a threat to run over at first. Not much of one. Stole two, was caught twice. Three and one.
And this has been the problem with Ryan Perry. When he gets in trouble, he just doesn't command as much as he needs to. Nothing wrong with his arm. Just falls behind in the count.
And points out an advantage that the Rangers have in this series, getting the ball to their closer. 3-1. Off the hands, won't carry, and that's Rayburn for out number 2. So there's a big out for Perry to come back and get. We'll deal with Elvis Andrus. Nolan Ryan's a little nervous, so he's working over the grips on a baseball. 7 no-hitters. There's the four-seamer, and he was trying to grip his curveball.
Yeah, he still looks like he can put a little fear into somebody. It may be his wife next to him, but that's not a welcome sight.
You faced him a lot, didn't you?
You know what? Too much. Guys had a way of getting sick that day.
So then you take over.
You better believe it. I'd take somebody else's over for them.
Elvis Andrus is at the plate. 1 on, 2 out, 1-0 pitch. Inge, fair ball, inning over. Nice job by Ryan Perry. Sends us to the 8th inning. Good game. Game 1 ALCS. 3-2 Texas. Lives in the area year-round. He's a Cowboys season ticket holder, and now he is holding on to a 1-run lead. In the top of the 8th inning, back-to-back left-handed batters to start. Kelly first up. Strike one, and with all those weapons, the guy who gets the call here in the 8th inning, up by 1 run in game 1 of the ALCS, is Darren Oliver, with Benoit getting ready for the Tigers. Into center field, late break, but Hamilton is there, 1 out. You can catch all the action of the 2011 Major League Baseball League Championship Series on Fox and TBS. Join the postseason debate at MLBFanCave.com and follow the action on Twitter with the hashtag postseason. Legends are born in October. What do you think of this move by Ron Washington?
Well, you're going to see this is the last matchup of the game right here. When Adams comes in to face Peralta, and then when Benoit comes in for Detroit, you're not going to see any more matching up. You're going to see guys stand and face lefty and righties both.
But this is confidence that Ron Washington is showing in Oliver when you have the other guys he has.
I agree. You're showing your veteran guy enough confidence that he's going to keep the ball out of the middle because he doesn't throw as hard as he used to.
The 1-0. Breaking ball drops in for a strike to Avila. 1-1. Peralta on deck, but he won't see Oliver.
No, this is his last hitter.
Adams part of that bolstering of the bullpen that took place at the deadline. That's hooked foul. Pitch was up. And the count 1-2. What did Ron Washington tell you before the game? I just like to play my hunches.
So go on my gut.
That gut is probably doing somersaults. Here's a 1-2 from Oliver to Avila. Off the hands, still 1-2.
They've done a really good job against Avila tonight, forcing him to swing at that pitch in, because he's been so good the last 2-3 months of the season, swinging at strikes and hitting the ball in the left field, and they're not letting him do that.
Grounded out with the bases loaded. And 2 out to end the top of the 5th inning. A 1-run game his last time up. And you point out there, you can say it, where David Murphy is playing in left.
My goodness, it looks like Terry Francona's hitting. He's 200 feet from the plate, and he's on the left field line.
For the left-handed hitting Avila. Against a guy that doesn't throw that hard. Got him on the outside corner, 2 gone.
He showed him in, and then he got him off, sitting away, and he froze him away.
Nice job by Oliver. Adams will take over with Peralta coming up. What a game here in game 1. In this series, and so far you're right on.
And this game just got a lot more difficult for Detroit. You got Adams and Felice for 4 outs, and these guys are 2 of the best in the game.
Mike Adams, who was just a shutdown guy. In fact, for a while there in San Diego, it looked like Adams may stay and take over the closer's role, and Heath Bell was going to get traded to a contender, but they traded Adams, and Adams is a big part of what they've got going in the late innings.
When you don't have to pigeonhole a guy, when he's not your closer, and you can bring him in the 7th or the 8th, to start an inning, to get the 3rd out like they're doing here, such a valuable weapon in your bullpen.
He's trying to get it to Felice. It was raining during the break. And there is Felice, like swimming in a lap pool. He's running in the bullpen. Adams with that odd delivery. 2 out dealing with Peralta, strike 1. Johnny hit 21 home runs during the regular season. 1 for 3 tonight. It seems like we are destined to finish this game in the rain. Is fouled straight back, and it's 0-2.
And this is not a real comfortable at bat for a right-hander. I mean, he's throwing those arms and legs at you, and he's falling off the mound. There's some deception to go along with some really good stuff.
Just off the outside corner. And a 1-2 count. Our unofficial look at it outside.
It was outside, but what a great pitch.
With 2 out. Down the right field line, slicing toward the seats, out of play.
It's amazing how the addition of an arm or two can change the whole look of a bullpen. And this guy is front and center in that comment.
And then add Ogando in the postseason from the rotation into the pen.
And Uehara, it's amazing.
Here is a 1-2. Same spot.
He's elevating. He's throwing a breaking ball away. He's doing it all. This is fun to watch. This kid's one of the best relievers in the game.
Hit the glove. Peralta fouled it away, and the count's still 1-2. That ends the inning. Sends us to the bottom of the 8th, and these fans hope by State Farm for auto, home, life, and banking. Get to a better state. And by Verizon, America's largest and most reliable wireless network. Josh Hamilton first up against Ryan Perry. Strike one. Hamilton tonight is 0 for 3 with a pair of strikeouts, a ground out. That average, he is 4 out of 18.
And he's swinging from the on-deck circle.
Yeah, again, he goes after that first pitch. We're going to go back to that last strikeout after Hamilton does something to start the 8th. Flips it into left. Easy for Rayburn, 1 out, and we go back to the pitch sequence. Adams against Peralta. If you've just watched a lot of American League Baseball, you're not aware of how filthy he can be, as he was for a couple of years for the San Diego Padres. He's got a good taste of what he can do. Michael Young went after a high hard one from Perry, strike one. Bullpen has been terrific for Detroit as well. A couple of hops to Inge, 2 out. Porcello, Koch, Perry. They've done their part. And in the 9th inning for the Tigers, down by at least 1 at the time, it'll be Santiago, Inge, Austin Jackson. So they need to get a couple of guys on to get their biggest bat to the plate in Miguel Cabrera. Breaking ball is a strike to Adrian Beltre. Wilson Betemit is a threat on that bench for Detroit. He could see some action in this 9th inning.
He's probably sitting over there right now swinging about 3 bats.
Switch hitting infielder. He could pinch hit for a guy like Brandon Inge.
That's exactly, because they want him to hit left-handed.
Two out, 0-2 count. And Beltre chased. Avila wanted it up there. Perry delivered it up there, and off to the 9th inning we go. This good game with a couple of rain delays in it goes to the 9th. Game 1 ALCS. Rangers up by 1. Center into left. Craig Gentry, who covers a ton of ground, is in the game in center. And on the mound is the closer for the Rangers, Neftali Feliz.
He strolls in from the bullpen like he's either half asleep or uninterested, and then the ball comes out of his hand and it explodes.
Santiago up. Betemit is on deck. Ball 1. Santiago's had a nice night, 2 for 3. Ramon singled, doubled, scored a run, grounded out. 0 for 1 batting left-handed. .97. Everybody comes out of their pen throwing 97, 98.
And that's not kilometers. That's
Ron Washington has an embarrassment of riches down there, and Santiago's trying to figure out Feliz. On Tuesday closed out the division series in St. Pete. Good bunt. That's got a chance. Kinsler cannot make a play. And a heads-up at bat and approach by Ramon Santiago. Tying run is on.
Now, I got to believe Bedeman's up there to hit. He's not ever been known for much of a bunter. But on the flip side, you can't run on Felice either. He does a great job holding runners.
Well, the old adage is you play to win on the road, tie at home. Obviously, Detroit's on the road. If you were going to bunt, maybe you just leave Inge in the game.
And Gene Lamont came down and talked to him, so we'll see. I got to believe they're going to let him hit. If he can find a way to get a hit, then maybe you can end up bunting Austin Jackson, trying to put both runners in scoring position.
Wilson Betemit, who has bounced around in his career 0 for 8 this postseason. One of the 3 to start at third base for the Tigers in the division series. Way late, strike 1. Tying run at first, nobody out.
I said he was swinging 3 bats. He needs to let one of those go.
He needs to crank it up one more notch. Betemit here in the 9th. Late again, 99, strike 2.
So many closers come into a game, and if a runner gets on first base, they allow them the opportunity to steal. There's no chance with Felice.
One away, and he blew him away with 3 fastballs.
Thanks for coming.
Last 2 at 99. From 97 to a pair of 99s. And now Santiago is going to be lifted for a pinch runner.
And again, more this is going to be for a base hit to try to go first or third, because I just don't think you can steal.
Danny Worth is in the game. He was added to the active roster when Delman Young was deactivated with a strained oblique. Runner at first, tying run, 1 out. Batter is Jackson. And that fastball charges inside at 98, ball 1.
Now the one thing Felice can do is he can walk you now. He can throw a walk in there every so often, and that's the one thing that's probably gotten in the way this year.
The Tigers are only 1 more base runner aboard, barring a double play, of getting Cabrera to the plate in this 9th inning. That was close. Jackson has struck out twice. He has driven home a run with a double, scored a run. 1 ball, 1 strike.
That's unhittable.
99 on the black. '98 in on the hand, strike 2.
Looks like he's starting to tire a little bit.
Yeah. That ball just jumps. Two out. How about 101 from Neftali Feliz? No chance. Ryan Rayburn.
And you know he desperately just wants to get on just to give Cabrera a chance.
See if Feliz can throw strikes as he misses inside. Ball one to Rayburn, who's had a nice night. Pair of walks. A base hit his first time up. And every Tiger fan is hoping. The number 24, Miguel Cabrera, bats one more time tonight. Strike one. Almost got away from Napoli, which would have sent the tying run down to second. That is the first non-fastball of the inning. It's 1-2.
A little bigger lead.
That had a wrinkle on it as well. It's 2-2. Tying run at first, 2 out. Huge threat on deck.
And they want to get him right here. They don't want to go full count and put the runner in motion.
2-2 pitch. Game over. Rangers take game 1. Struck out the